Welcome into the Cold Slither Wednesday night evening blend number 39. There he is showing off a very custom Zartan. I love it. Love it, Matthew. What's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
Doing great.
Exciting news today. Oh, look, my phone's just blowing up, man. Blowing up. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. War Chest is out on a date.
Woo!
Breaking news. Holy moly, man. All right. It is another Wednesday night, or another Tuesday night. My bad. I said Wednesday. Man, I'm messing that up right off the top. It is Tuesday night, every Tuesday with Matthew Matson and myself, Pop Blender, bringing you some Hollywood news. Fun show. We've got a lot of news. We got a lot of stuff today. Actually jam-packed. Got some news that came in this morning. Got some news overnight about 1 a.m. that kind of broke while I was still awake. So I went ahead and just started furiously just, saving articles and pictures. And folks, if you do live streams, I'm going to tell you something really quickly. One of your best friends, if you want to share a article on screen, the Wayback Machine. It's a Google Chrome extension. You need to go into your extensions if you use Chrome, and you need to download the Wayback Machine. What the Wayback Machine does is it gets rid of all the annoying ads and all the crazy flashing lights, and it basically saves the text and usually pictures from an article. Occasionally it does not. Sometimes people have already saved that information for you, and all you have to do is click on it and then copy and paste the URL. Sometimes you have to save it yourself, or shave it yourself for that. Yeah, well, or you can get a Brazilian. But right off the top. But yeah, the Wayback Machine, it's awesome. I'm telling you, it's awesome, especially for live streams. And so I've been utilizing that a lot lately. Got some chat rolling in, got some people rolling in. I love it, and I want to get right to it because we got a lot to bring to you tonight. But first and foremost, Matthew, how you doing? Good week, bad week, indifferent, doesn't matter. You tell me.
Oh, it's a good week.
Love it.
Things are going, lots of photos, having fun, works. Yeah, works. It's stressful. It's good. It's going well, but we're kind of busting at the seams at the minute.
Yeah,
so
baby.
we're very, very busy.
Well, and as things warm up, as it has in my neck of the woods, then all of a sudden people come out of the woodwork, don't they? Get out of their houses and start jogging up and down the sidewalk where I'm at, and the scenery is fantastic. And so, yeah, people start making those appointments, don't they?
Well, I mean, we get the appointments because of the cold weather, right? So
yeah.
people slip and fall on the ice, and we see them shortly.
Right.
And now they're going to get
longly.
back outside and they haven't exercised in 3 months, and then they start exercising, and then we see them again.
Yes, sir.
So
well, it's kind of interesting in my line of business. Cold kind of keeps people in, right? They drink at home, hang out at home, maybe eat at home. But man, you get a day or two like we've gotten, and all of a sudden people are busting at the seams to break out, right? They feel it. It's almost funny because you think, oh, they've been snowed in or they've been kept in for months at a time. And all it takes is like a couple days, maybe a week.
well, we had a whole conversation at the clinic about vitamin D and how most Americans are vitamin D deficient.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
And I said, all it takes is to go out in the sunshine for a little bit. And one of my employees like, it was so nice. I had to spend so much time outside this weekend.
Right? I mean, and that's The More You Know by Matthew Matson. I'm gonna clip that, and the next time we have a The More You Know, I'm gonna play that. I promise you guys. I'm clipping that and I'm playing that. We need it. Well, let's get into it, man. Let's get into the chat. We got some people rolling in here as we start kind of climbing the ladder. First in, son of a crayon slayer. Hey now, love it. Little crowded house for you folks if you don't know. If you know, you know. Clint Jorgensen is here. Inside Source tells me Kathleen Kennedy is out at Disney. You have some good sources, Clint.
Is she gone? Is she here? Kennedy's status is queer.
Queer. I need to clip that too, but I'd have to ask permission.
Well, he'd let you use it.
I know
sure.
he would. I know he would. But that's one of the best. I love it because that's something that's been in the up in the air for I don't know 5 6 years.
5 6,
Should have been
yeah.
6 years ago.
Well,
We'll see.
we'll talk about that in a minute, but
Yep.
I've got some perspective on that that might be interesting.
I love perspective, my friend. Krusty Old Crow is here as well, present and accounted for. Our Canadian friends always welcome until we make you a state, and then you'll find out what it's really like to be part of America. uh,
America.
I jest, of course. I jest. America. No, I love you, Crow. You know that. Let's see here. Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions also rolling in here. Johnny Reno. I hate when people. It's not their fault, but when there's like the little picture logo there, because I don't know what the emoji is. Right? I'm guessing that's
Hmm.
an emoji or that's something, and I hate that the translation
What,
gets lost sometimes when
what,
it does that.
oh, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like whatever the emoji is, you can't see it on here because of the software doesn't communicate with each other.
Yeah. So, well, it depends on which one it is because sometimes I see it in StreamYard, but I definitely see it on the YouTube chat. Um,
Okay, so I don't on StreamYard, and I don't have YouTube pulled up because I just roll straight from the StreamYard, but you can tell me what it is, or I can find out later when I go
which
back
one
and
was it?
rewatch. It was Johnny Reno right here. That one
Those
shows up in StreamYard as just the little
whiskey
picture
glasses?
logo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. Well, brother, I'm all about that, and I know you are too, my friend. Ronnie Trickshot, one of my two favorite Aussie friends, and that's with two S's, by the way. Aussie with two
And
S's.
this guy's getting famous. He's getting asked on other podcasts now.
Hell
He's
yes.
doing a photography one on another podcast or something.
He should be. He's a fantastic gent, and he says, "Good day, legends. How's it hanging?" Well, I will tell you that been hanging loose today, buddy. Hanging loose. It's one of my favorite phrases, actually. Johnny Reno asks really quickly to go back. He says, "Are you going to order the SDCC Cold Slither set, Matthew?" We're about to get into that. That's our top of the news day. I don't want to miss anybody. Menjoza is here. Viper Scout is here. Joe Fan 84, one of my favorites. I'd love to meet Joe Fan 84 in person. I'd love to meet
Yeah.
actually all of you guys in person, to be honest with you. But Joe Fan, man, he shows up in full force for sure. 3-star draw, my cuz in the house. What's up? Vitamin D's nuts. I love it. Let's see here. Rolling down, rolling down. Todd C. What's going on, buddy? I came on even though Pop got accused of buying subs. I did. I was in the stream
What?
last night.
Holy crap!
Did you miss all that?
I must have missed somebody accusing him of buying subs.
It was goofy.
Oh,
It was a goof.
okay.
Yeah,
That
no.
okay. I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah, I
I
just
didn't see anybody who
I
was
said,
serious.
man, I've been buying subs and I'm getting 10 to 20 on a live stream. I said it's gonna pay off in 3 or 4 years. I know it's gonna happen one of these days.
Yeah, no, I commented on that one. Yeah, yeah.
You did. It was fun. That was fun last night. I had a lot of fun in the chat, for sure. And my sis is here, loves mules, and yes, if you only knew with the horses and the cat and the dog and the property and everything, man, you guys would be absolutely amazed at what she does, all by herself. Actually, it's truly amazing. Um, what we got here? Ronnie. Okay, all right, Ronnie. Very handsome rather than famous. I think. Oh no, we haven't had you, folks. We've gone about 37 live stream, maybe 33, since Matthew dropped the phone on the floor and showed his gorgeous ankles. And they're not cankles, folks. They're ankles. Right? Let's not kid ourselves. They're beautiful. He's in the healthcare industry. He's got beautiful ankles. And it's been quite a while, actually. And that's before you had kind of the tripod,
Right, I
and the
changed the tripod.
setup. And I love it, man. Love it. Used to have a dog, a three-legged dog that lived next door. We used to call him Tripod. My sister can attest to that, too. That's a true story. Um, that's terrible. I'm such a horrible person. And of course, Johnny Reno confirming it is 5 whiskey glasses. I love it. I had a few on Friday and I got very animated. on Friday, and
Mm.
therefore I forwent the whiskey tonight for coffee instead because I don't want to start cussing like I did on Friday night. Holy moly! I went back and watched some of that, and I'm like, it's a little embarrassing. What we got here, Joe Fan 84? At least he was wearing pants. Oh no, Ronnie. Hey, that's a good thing, actually, that your friends call you tripod. That's a
my,
compliment, my friend.
my nickname was Captain Cannon in high school, so you know.
Oh wow. Wow, it's funny. That was my nickname in community college, and I didn't even go to community college. So figure that one out, folks. I don't know how that works.
Always sitting on those younger girls, huh?
Yeah, whoa, hang on a minute. Wait a minute. Let's not even get into that.
It was
Clint
community
York.
college, so they're of age. I'm
Oh,
just.
yeah. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Clay Jorgensen says if we take on Australia, we promise to improve their cell phone networks. Wow, are they that bad? Are they that bad in Australia? I don't know, but I guarantee you somebody who might be able to tell us is Sabir Del Norte. What's going on, man? Good to see you, buddy. Really appreciate you stopping by for sure. Absolutely. And 3-star draw just to put the icing on the cake. You were fucked up Friday. Yes. Yes. I'm gonna pull back on that on Fridays.
It was getting a little out of hand, a little bit.
A little bit. It was a little sailor-ish, I guess is one adjective to use. Sailor-ish that's a new one for you guys. Sailor-ish, without the hyphen if you want. I don't care.
This reminds me of a picture of shipwreck that I took. Do you know who Buzz Dixon is?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
So he wrote a lot of the G.I. Joe animated stuff, right?
Yes.
He commented on my shipwreck picture. He says,
Oh.
This is the greatest picture of shipwreck I think I've ever seen on the internet. And I did a sunset scene with him on the beach, sitting in a hammock, drinking a bottle of whiskey.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, to get Buzz. I mean, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
super cool, actually, man. Which means, and all you guys out there know who Buzz Dixon is, save for maybe one person in this chat. That's pretty cool. It obviously means he still keeps up, right? He still looks through. He still maybe.
Well,
Kinda,
he's on Instagram quite a bit, and he's posted memes. He posts
That's
memes
cool.
all the time, and they're
Okay.
not great memes. But anyway,
Well,
he's out
listen,
there.
when you're what 78-ish, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'd say, it's a little harder to have the good memes when you're at that age. They call them boomers, folks. I've been accused of being a boomer, and I had to try
It's
to.
close.
I did the dumbest thing. No, it's not even close. It's a generation
Well, but I mean,
behind.
where that generation ends and X begins is like debatable.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
debatable.
Well, boomer technically is the baby boomer generation from the World War II.
Yeah.
So that would be like my mother. You know what I mean? And she's,
Well-
I was born probably when she was, I don't know, 25, 8. I'm trying to remember, put the math together quickly in my head. But my point being, as Woody Triple Deuce shows up and says, "Yellow people." Hey man, is that a double entendre?
Wait
What
a
are you
minute
trying to
now.
say
Hold
there?
on a
Hang
second there.
I take offense to that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm more peach,
come
man.
on.
Okay, I'm kind of peach, Woody. That's fucked up, man.
I know my
Come
lighting's
on.
not the greatest right now, but come on.
Man, you know,
We don't
hey,
have jaundice or anything.
I thought we got past all that. the
Yeah,
last
what's all
year or
this?
two.
Man,
Oh, I love you, Woody. Woodrow. That's what I like to come. Woodrow in the house. Hanging out, probably 420 times 10, I would imagine. And that's okay with me, my friend. That is okay with me. Anyway, so there's our chat as people start rolling in. I'll try to see if I can highlight everybody as best I can. But appreciate everybody being here to hang out with Matthew and I on a Tuesday night. We try to keep it light and funny, and Matthew's insights are always much better than mine, and that's why I keep him hanging around. That's why I keep him hanging out. I put some milk and some outside, and he keeps showing up every day. But I'm a better person for it. I can tell you that. That's for sure. And yeah, Woody. Yes, I do. Unfortunately, there is no same time hangout this Friday, from what I've been told, and it happens. It is what it is. But that is a good time, and I do love hanging out with you guys on Fridays. Matthew, you ever get a chance, you ought to pop in there, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes. 10,
Yeah,
15, 20 minutes.
they
It's a good time.
invited me last week, but I had done other streams that week, and my wife probably would have killed me if
Yeah,
I did
no,
another one.
I get
Um,
that, man. I get that. So listen, let's not keep everybody waiting. Usually we like to start things off with the current box office, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to give you a little current box office as of today. Now the numbers haven't rolled in tonight, overnight, but this is as of last night's numbers.
well, yeah,
We'll,
so we should have all the weekends and even Mondays
yes,
by now.
and we'll
Um,
we'll somewhat quickly go over this. Now, it
yeah.
would make sense to roll into one of our stories or one of our things to talk about, but we do have some exciting news. I know all of you have heard about it, and we're going to get to it momentarily. But first and foremost, this may seem like a win, Matthew, but at number one, Captain America: Brave New World is still number one after 11 days, but that is not a
So
win.
they can still make the commercials. Still number one movie in
Number one
America.
movie in America, and Canada. No, yeah, no, not
Like
so
I said,
much, man. Just yeah, just looking at the percentages, and this is
oh
common. If
man,
you look
yeah,
down this list and you see the red, okay, there's a bunch of red here, folks. If you see the red, that's going to tell you the drop off, right? And This is a big drop off, and this movie is going to be on streaming very soon. It will be.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
Captain
looks that
America: Brave New
way.
World. Now the monkey came in from Neon, 15 million. At number two. I want to see this movie.
Yeah,
It is one of those Final Destination type movies. It is a
yeah.
movie where if you don't like gore or you don't, like just crazy, stuff like that, then yeah, like you may not like this. But it's one of those movies where on one second you're going, oh, and the next minute you're going, oh, God, I don't want to see that,
Yeah.
Daredevil Dave stopping in here too, man. Love you, Dave. Triple D in the house. I like some triple D's in the house. Wait a minute. Paddington in Peru. Hang on. Pull that back up. Is that Charlie?
Yep.
Charlie going to work?
The blind
Damn, I
man.
called it.
He's a
I
blind
called
man.
it. We're going to get to that later tonight, too, folks, as we
Yeah.
gear up for Born Again. I can't wait to
Again.
talk about it again. Again. Paddington in Peru. I know that's many of y'all's favorite movie out right now.
I want to see
Dogman.
it.
Why not? Who cares? I mean, Dogman still holding strong from the Captain Underpants world. Heart Eyes, I'm going to tell you right now, I couldn't tell you what the hell Heart Eyes is about. I couldn't even tell you who's in it.
I think I saw a preview for it once and forgot about it already.
I'm serious. I could not tell you. And shame on me, folks, for not being able to give you that information. But The Unbreakable Boy. Um,
So this movie was made 4 years ago,
oh,
uh,
wow. Okay. Well,
and
that's
is just now
interesting.
being released. It's Zachary Levi,
Mm,
and it's about the kid with autism, families with
okay.
autism, and it's a good
Uplifting.
good family
Okay.
dad story about a special kid who affects people's lives, and it looks really good. And Zachary Levi did the Kurt Warner movie, and that movie was
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No. And
Um,
that's a great story too. If you
yeah,
don't know about it, if
exactly.
you're not a sports fan, if you're not a sports ball fan, as
Yep.
they say, yes. The Kurt Warner story is actually truly, truly amazing and fascinating, and to be in the Hall of Fame. But the Unbreakable Boy, uplifting, family movie. Lionsgate actually, which is interesting.
Well, they've
There's a
been doing
Lionsgate
stuff like
film.
that. Yeah, no,
That's
they
good. No, that's good. We need more folks. Look, we need more good father stories
yeah,
being
absolutely.
put out there. We've been beaten down. Guys, fathers have been beaten down for years as no good, down and out. They're not I say the breadwinner, but you know what I'm saying. Like we've been pushed aside, and that's
Yep.
not the case. That fathers are extremely important, and we need more movies like that. people get inspired. They do by film, by art, and so that's good, man. I don't know about that movie. It's been out for 4 days, made a couple million, $2.5 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to break any records or anything,
No,
but
no, no,
but
no.
it will be a quality movie. It'll be
That's
worth
good.
watching.
That's good, man.
And Zachary's known to do this. I mean, he takes his time when picking the roles that he wants to play. And I don't know if he always did that or if he just got lucky with a couple of them, but he has taken time to actually uh, pay attention and do the best that he can and read the scripts and understand how it's going to be perceived. And he's also been a big advocate for fathers. He's been a big advocate for families.
Yes.
He's been a big advocate for the positive things in society. He hasn't disparaged or taken away from anyone at any time that
Well,
I've ever seen.
he's
Um,
also come under fire for that.
well,
And that's
yeah,
what is such a shame about it,
yep,
is that coming under fire from certain groups of people or people for wanting to stand up for families or for
yep,
fathers or for conservative values or whatever,
yeah.
that you would come under fire for something like that.
And I think
That's
that
crazy.
backlash really shaped some other decisions that he's made in the past couple years too.
I agree.
Because he's like, wait a minute, this is messed up.
Nope.
Yep.
I agree. And so let's round out, I
Except for
guess,
wearing that
the
stupid scarf on that television interview that
oh
he.
yeah.
No,
I
that
need
scarf
to I
was
need
cool.
to
That scarf was cool.
well, I need to screen grab that too, actually, but
That
it would
was a
only
good
come
one.
in handy a couple times. Mufasa the Lion King, $245 million, still rolling in here, making money. It's been out for almost 70 days. One of them days, still, I mean, shoot, hanging in, as a comedy. 46 million. I don't know what the budget is. I'm a little surprised that movie keeps kind of hanging on, but it does. Complete Unknown, Bob Dylan story, and then Becoming Led Zeppelin really kind of rounds it out. We don't need to
Those
go
last two I
too much
really need to
further than
see. I
that.
want to see both of them. I don't care that I have all that information already. I still
Yeah,
still want to
yeah,
see
yeah.
what they do with it.
Yeah, Becoming Led Zeppelin, I guess that one for me, I know everything there is to know, is one of my favorite bands, is my favorite drummer of all time. And so it's nothing that I would learn or glean from that. I know the entire story forwards and backwards.
Yeah.
But anytime I get a chance to hear some Led Zeppelin music, and especially when it's maybe compartmentalized is not probably the proper term, but whenever it's put to something, right,
Yeah.
to tell a story,
Yep.
I love that. I love that.
I
Led
told
Zeppelin,
you
I'm
that
telling you, I love
the
that, man.
first dance with my wife on our wedding was a Led Zeppelin song.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was not Thank You.
yeah it was.
Yep, that's it. Damn, I did call it. I did remember it. Great song, folks. That is off of Led Zeppelin 2 or
Yeah, I think so.
3. Yeah, I think
I
it's
want to.
I think it's 2. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's 2. I could be wrong. 2 or 3. But anyway,
yeah,
I used to know the track listings forward and backwards as well, but
yeah. Me too.
that
I
was
studied
many,
that
many
shit,
moons
man.
ago.
It's like I had
S-
them all,
yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah.
All right, look, let's get into it.
All right.
We know. You guys have seen it. The news got presented to me this morning. My cousin sent it to me. So it was at the top of the day, and as I was getting ready for work and driving into work, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it. But we're going to talk about it here. G.I. Joe goes heavy metal in Hasbro's incredible Cold Slither box set. I'm going to bring up the article just a little bit, and then we're just going to go right to the slides.
So which article is this? Is this the
This is from IGN.
yes,
This
okay.
is from
So
IGN.
the IGN article has all of the stuff related to Cold Slither that's coming out. And
Yes.
the listing of everything that's in there is kind of freaking cool. So they're doing a cross promotion with everybody on this one.
I
I
love
think
it.
it's brilliant.
Yep, I do too. I love it. This is so, folks. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I called it. I called it first on a Sevens Wild. I was the first one. It was part of my top wish list, and I said this is going to happen 100%. I talked to Lenny. I talked to Hasbro, the CEOs. I was in the factory, folks. I was in the factory while they were making the molds. I was there. I called it. Cold Slither coming to you, but I couldn't say anything at the time because I was banned. I could not actually bring this information. And Todd C, listen, that is an affront to me. That is, you are.
You know what this is sign language for, right?
Oh no. No, I don't. I'm gonna say bullshit.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, yes, it is. Look, I will say this though. It was one of my wish lists. I'm not gonna lie. We did a top five or whatever,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, we need to get into this. We need to get into the cartoons. We need to get in this fun stuff. We've had enough repaints, right? We'd all agree. Um,
Look, I mean, there's only so many soldiers we can buy, right? If everybody looks like a generic soldier, that's going to be the end of it. I mean, nobody's going to care because they're all background fodder, right? Yeah,
yes,
you got to do something different. You got to do something exciting, and this is all part of the lore in GI Joe. So they have all this material to draw from, and Lenny's, I mean, he loves the dreadnoughts. He loves the weird stuff, and
yeah,
he's
yeah,
digging into it, and he's making it make sense, right? And I think this is a good direction. I think you're right. I mean, you've got to do some classic stuff. You've got to do some weird stuff. You've got to do some in between stuff, some of that sci-fi stuff. You got to throw it all in there because it's all part of the lore, and you're
it
gonna
is.
you're gonna scratch the itch of all the fans by hitting all these different things if you can. And the brand's been successful enough that they can do that. They don't have to cater to the vocal minority or the where they think the sales are going to go.
Right.
And this is a perfect con exclusive. It's not something everybody wants. It's not something everybody needs.
Yep.
It's probably pretty niche, but people are still going to want it. So you put it in a con set, and everybody's happy because they're different versions of the figures that you may or may not need. You can make customs of the other ones if you can't get those.
Well, and the thing of it is, and I mentioned this to you when we were talking earlier, is that it's like a radio dial, right? If you don't like it, don't buy it, right? Don't try to
Yep.
get it.
Yeah.
If it's not your thing, that's fine. It's totally fine. I just think that it's fun, and to me, this is the direction I want to see them go in. Yes, there's
Yep.
many figures that we still need, and we're gonna
Yep.
get, right? I assume, but. This is fantastic, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
to have this set, and of course, then I think from what I read, also as far as the packaging and everything,
Hmm.
you're gonna
Looks
have like
great.
kind of the background, and then
Well, and we haven't seen all the accessories either, and they've stated this that there are more
right,
accessories because it listed how many accessories are on there, and how many were shown is not all that's there,
right.
right? And so 3 star, it's the internet. Everybody's going to be butthurt about something.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you're not. There's nothing you can talk about where somebody isn't upset or they're not mad
Yeah,
about it or they're disappointed or whatever.
whatever. That's
I
fine.
just I love this. I love this. I want more of it.
Yep.
I want the like you and I were talking about with Shipwreck and Snake Eyes and Timbers
Yeah,
dancing with the
that's
Boy
right.
George and all that.
And
I
the
think it's great.
saxophone. I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
Well, I was going to say, Todd C says I'm skipping it. Still happy for others and happy I got extra funds for other things like the Lyle Kaiser,
yeah,
whatever. And yeah, that's perfectly fine, right?
yeah.
Like it really is. I'm glad to see them branch out and go in the direction of maybe pulling in some of the some of the cartoon stuff, right?
So
And even maybe some of the comic stuff as well.
I want to say if you get all of these things that are coming out that are in this article, you are going to have a pretty impressive Cold Slither set. I'm
I
just
would
saying.
say so. I mean, because also, I mean, I scrolled down a minute ago as far as the reaction, right?
Yeah.
With the Zartan and the microphone guitar,
Yep.
whatever with the strap and
So
uh
I have not been a big fan of the Super 7 O-rings. They just feel cheap to me in my
yeah, yeah,
hands. I
yeah.
know
I'm
I
not a
know
big
I know
fan.
3 stars got some and he's enjoying them, and that's awesome. I love the fact that they did the Fatal Fluffies and Raymar, and I love what they're doing with it. And the price point's correct, I think. So this is another opportunity, another way to do it. Unfortunately, Super 7 hasn't shown you the rest of the band. So if you're just getting Zartan,
Right.
that's kind of tough.
A little
right?
bit. It is the UV color, and that Clint, yes, it is the UV color. So as far as the reaction plus, I mean, you are going to get the UV color change on that.
Supposedly, I mean, they do glow in the dark sometimes, and the glow in the dark doesn't work out the way that they want to sometimes. So if they're doing color change here, now they said that they're doing color change here, but they've said this before and
Right.
then not actually had it in production. So they didn't tell you till you had it in hand and you figured it out for yourself that they couldn't do it in the factory. Super 7 is known to do
Yes.
this because Brian Flynn will hide things as long as possible until after the fact. And then everybody's
Well,
figuring out that this stuff is junk and it's broken, and then you just keep paying for it. So that's why another reason why I don't support much Super 7 stuff.
so just to get into it, just to here we're gonna pull that down and let's just get into it really quickly. Let's just go through them. I know everybody's gonna get their fill, right? Everybody's gonna get their fill of these. They're gonna see them, but obviously here's the band. Here's the whole band. What I really appreciate is the drum set.
So
Being a drummer, I
I've
really do appreciate the fact that they've got a hi hat, they've got a cymbal, they've got toms, they've got a snare drum, a bass drum, and the logo and everything. I
so
love this.
so I've been eyeing this drum set for months on Etsy, and they have all different kinds of them, different color patterns and stuff like that. But they're
Right.
all 1/12 scale steel drum sets, and for $25, and they look freaking amazing. And I'm like, I was wondering how this was going to look and if I could swap some parts from that onto that other drum set and
Yeah,
make it look a little bit better. But um,
but I mean,
I think it's awesome that they're making it. And now I'm like, okay, so if this is at a reasonable price point, definitely worth getting for the drum set, man.
yeah, man. I mean, it's just look. I've seen those figures at Target, right, where they have like Gene Simmons, they have Kiss, or they have
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Motorhead, or they have other bands, AC/DC, right? And I've seen like the little drum sets or whatever. I mean, look. To make a complete full drum set and it be just anatomically like where you can hold the sticks and all that I would imagine it'd be quite difficult. Is there a kick pedal? Is there, man, that's a lot of
Well,
stuff,
it's a
man.
lot of
That's
stuff,
a lot of
and I
stuff.
hope Buzzer's wrists articulate. Oh shoot.
Uh, Yay! Yes,
Yeah,
fireworks, ladies and gentlemen.
I
Buzzer
hope
versus Animal on the drums gets the fireworks.
I hope his wrists articulate this way, not this way.
Yeah. No, no, I'm with you, and I hope they're able to do that. Just kind of looking at the chat, quickly. Let's see here. This is Clint Jorgensen says, yeah, man, Torch is basically using his normal hairdo, right? Uh, Three Star says they can
It's a
do
little
this. They can
messier.
outsource production of Bongo, the Balloon Bears van to Ramen. Make it happen, Lenny. And I'm sure Lenny is watching right now. He's probably a
So
lurker.
who was it? I just saw it recently. Somebody, Stanley Everhart. Stanley Everhart said, "I don't think my Cold Slither custom ramen van will be ready by Joe Fest, but it will be by SDCC for sure."
Yeah.
So he's taken the white van from ramen and he's making it a Cold Slither band van.
Uh, no, I mean that would be cool. I mean, it's all this stuff somewhat kind of works together, right? Everybody try, you want to capitalize or whatever, right? Do what you can. Maybe, you can't take the exact, logo, or maybe you can't take the exact, but if you can
Yeah, whatever.
somewhat do it, right? People can do
Yeah,
whatever they want. They can customize it, right? As long as you're in the
that's it.
ballpark. And yeah, classified. I don't think the Zartan classified skin color, could be wrong.
No,
I know on the Reaction Plus, but I don't think on the classified it does.
I don't believe that they're going to do any more color
Right.
change. They've already stated why they can't do the UV color change. They
Yeah.
can do the
Yeah.
temperature color change, but it has to be
Right.
cold. And because it lasts longer because of that kind of stuff.
Now, this is one of those
You know,
things Sabir brings up that I get. It says, not one I'll be attempting to pre order. The experience with Once a Man Cobra Commander last year was enough dealing with Pulse for that fig. Love the fact they're doing Sunbow lore, which I think this is, but yes. But I'll bow out. And I can understand that because that was trying to get those classified figures, the con exclusives and stuff, can be a real pain.
yep.
And I get it. I totally get it. So I wouldn't blame anybody for maybe skipping it. And I'm guessing, Matthew, maybe you'll agree with me. You you're probably going to be able to find these guys, and maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe not have to pay too much, but at the same time,
It
man,
depends on the price point.
woo,
Well, so
that's
so
true. That's
I,
true.
I'll say this: it depends on the price point because people really wanted Chuckles, and he came with a lot of good stuff, but people didn't want to pay that price point, right?
Yes.
I ended up with three of them. Two of them I purchased. One of them was shipped to me for free from Hasbro because of a defect, right? And so
Yeah.
I sold two of them. I mean,
Yeah.
and they did well selling, but he was already a high priced figure, right?
Right.
And then the three pack, everybody knows that three pack was outrageously priced, and people bought it anyway. But most people bought it on clearance from
Yeah.
Hasbro Pulse,
Yeah.
so they know that they have to be cautious with their price points because if they don't, then they won't sell out because those Chuckles were sitting in stock for a while. Though that three pack with the Baroness was sitting in stock for a while.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be pretty smart on this. I hope so. And the backlash that they're getting from Maximum Spider-Man, that could be changing things too. So I don't know.
Well, either way, bottom line, I'm stoked. We don't need to go through each individual slide. You guys are going to get plenty of your fill from other
Yeah.
shows that are going to go through these. You're going to hear about them next Monday, right? On Punk Stream again.
Yep.
It just is what it is. I mean, that's so we're all going to get our fill. And for those of you that are excited about it, and I am, then hell yeah.
You know what I'm kind of excited about in this article?
What's that?
The record album, 10 songs.
Yes, and actually, looking at the article itself, and I'll bring it back up really quickly just to kind of go over it again. Let me stop that and bring this back up.
So
That was
Todd's
kind of what I was looking for, to be
yeah.
honest with you. I was
Well,
kind of trying to
I
look
couldn't
for that
find.
part. I couldn't find it in this article either.
No, it is. It's in there in the IGN article. It is for
Let's
sure.
see, various musical
Um,
instruments, even the packages designed at Springfield Theater.
yeah.
Um,
Yep. They talked about some of that. Todd C. The Chuckles was 42. This will be up there. I don't think that they're
Oh
going to
yeah.
make those mistakes again because of what happened with Chuckles, because of what happened with the three pack and how they had them in stock for so long and they had to clearance them. They had to sell them on the cheap. They don't want to do that. And so I don't know that they're going to price it too high for what they're offering. I hope that
You don't think 125?
I
Do you think that's a little
I can
high?
I don't think that that's a little high. I think that 100 would be perfect in my mind.
Okay.
125 would be the max. Because if you think about it, I mean that drum set on Etsy is $25 and it's made out of metal, and I can get one of those, right? And I can customize four figures, and I can pay $25 for a figure, right? So you get four figures with accessories, and there's plenty of accessories and a drum kit. So you've got five figures essentially. So you've got
And that's a lot of stuff.
$125.
That's a lot of
That,
stuff, man.
that's $125 worth of stuff potentially
Yeah.
at retail value, right? Could they make it cheaper? Hell yes, they could make it cheaper, obviously. But
Right.
but they have to think this is an exclusive. This is what it's going at. If it's 150, there'll be less people buying it, and it will be left in stock for a little while. If they make it
Yeah.
if they make it
Yeah.
more than 150, they're not going to sell any.
Yeah, no. I think you're right. I think a lot of people will pass
Yeah,
if they really go up there. Clint says he's talking about Joe Fan, but he says your price could be right. I'm going to say $1 because I think you all have overbidded. I know tomorrow night on the Backyard Battlefield, I know Crow and Three Star Draw will be definitely going over this. So
yeah.
if you guys want to deep dive, I know there's some people right now. I know Baldy's going to going over this tonight, but if you guys want to deep dive tomorrow night on Three Star Draw's channel, go check that out. Backyard Battlefields. They'll be doing a super deep dive into this, and after I get out of
Well,
work, I'll have to join in.
yeah, and I hope they hit all the things because it's
Yep, I
not
do
just the
too.
classified set; it's the Super Seven set.
Yes.
It's the album with the 10 songs that's being released by a page that has like um, Gothard is on there. Jesus, they got a Gothard album on there. So they've got metal albums on there. So they've
Okay.
produced a lot of other metal albums with other bands.
Yeah.
So getting people together, and then the Skybound crossover. So Skybound Comics is diving into this too and making comic books telling some story with Cold Slither in it. And so
Sweet. Hell yeah.
we're getting this whole swath of stuff that's coming out.
I love that.
I think there were one or two more things, but those are the ones that hit me.
Yeah.
Is the action figures, the music album, and the comic book.
I think the article I have saved is maybe doesn't have all. It might have had an addendum on it, to add to it. This is the one kind of I saved. Doesn't mention that, but yeah, if there's an album and you've got maybe a comic run going with it, I mean that's fantastic.
So if you
I'm all
keep
about it. I love
scrolling, it should be there. If that's the IGN
Well,
article.
yeah. I mean, it's they show this kind of GI Joe mothership walkthrough,
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
but
not even
really,
there.
there's really
That's
nothing
just an ad.
else. Yeah, there's really
Okay,
nothing else
so
on
I had a
here.
very different article
Okay, here it
because
is. No, finally, Skybound is getting in on the fun with a comic book tie-in called GI Joe Cold Slither, greatest rock band in 2025. Cold Slither. This is kind of the 10 electrifying tracks that blend searing, distorted guitar riffs, pounding rhythms, irresistibly catchy anthemic choruses. So yeah, you're right. It is
there
here.
it is.
I
Yeah.
thought this italics was more of just kind of Hasbro saying, "Hey guys, we're really excited to bring you, this or whatever." But you are correct.
Yeah.
This is the same article, and it says Hasbro is really leaning into the musical theme. Cold Slither album teaming with Raining Phoenix Music to bring the band to life. And so they have a whole description here about it, 10 tracks and stuff. So that's cool. I mean, that's fun though, man. Like,
Yeah.
look, whether
Yeah.
you're interested in the figures or not, like, I love stuff like this. If they're
Hey,
going
man,
all in, they're
I
trying to
have
bring
all of
something
the
fun to
other
the table. That's cool, man.
I have all the other GI Joe albums. I've got Word Burglars. I've got the soundtrack from the animated cartoon. I've got the
Yeah,
Robo Skull album. I'm gonna get these things on vinyl if
sweet.
they give them on vinyl, man.
No,
Um,
that's awesome, dude.
was it Eric Thurman? He popped in.
Eric says this is classified. I have it highlighted. I just want to
Yeah.
say, yes, it is classified as well as Reaction Plus. They have a Zartan figure with the
Right.
guitar right
So
here
so
with color change.
the 4-pack with the drums and all the instruments. That's classified SDCC exclusive.
Yes.
Super Seven's got an O-ring coming out, and they've got the album coming out and the comic books. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's and Garaf is here as well. Needs Thrasher on bass. Todd C says 175. Woody
No,
says
I
129. We'll see. I mean, either way, and everybody's saying 130, 170 for everything. It is
no.
what it is. If you want it, you're gonna get it, right? If
Yep.
you want it, you're gonna order it. That's just the
Yep.
way it goes. And if you don't, then you're gonna hold off and maybe try to find it secondary or whatever. If you're a completionist, right? Because are these gonna have numbers? I assume they're gonna have numbers, right?
Well, it depends. Maybe, maybe
Man.
not, because they're starting to use those numbers
Right.
sparingly, right? So
Right.
some of the like the retros, they don't have numbers, right? So
Right.
you know,
I would assume they're going to have numbers. I don't know. Maybe
Hmm.
could be wrong. Depends on how they're packaged. I guess it just depends. But the Comic Con, as far as the others like Chuckles,
Turk Murph, that was a Satin song, so it's not a Cold Slither song. So that's what Satin sang, and that's another one that we should get at some point is Satin and her
Chuckles
band.
is number 75. So
Oh yeah, no,
uh,
I know that they've done that before, but I mean sometimes for certain things they could say this is retro or
that's
whatever,
true. That's
and
true.
and
That's true.
not put numbers on it.
Yeah.
And I know that they are pushing the numbers thing, but if they're doing an exclusive right, then it shouldn't have a number on it. But
Right.
that's my opinion on that one.
Well, we shall see. Finally, a couple more comments. Sabir says, "Once a man, Cobra Commander isn't numbered, is he? Let me find mine and
Yeah,
check."
yeah,
He
he is.
is. He's right behind me,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, he's numbered.
Right here, and he is number 130.
There you go.
130. Damn it! I knocked over my Fallout figure. Son of a bitch! Don't mess with my Fallout stuff now, y'all. I'm serious about Fallout. Don't play.
They'll
Uh,
wake up and start coming after you.
Oh no. Brr, brr, brr.
Small soldiers, man. Put microchips in them, right?
That's right. Woody Triple D says if they rubbed their two brain cells together at Hasbro, they would definitely put numbers on these. It just makes
Well,
business
I,
sense.
I
Yes,
mean,
it does.
it gets that collector FOMO, right? For those that are completionists and got to have every numbered figure.
I know,
I guess
right?
so.
But that's what I'm saying, right? And it does
Yeah,
make sense, right? You put a number on them, guess what happens? People
yeah,
are like, gotta have it. It is what it is. It speaks to that part of our lizard brain, and that's just the way it goes. So yeah. But I'm excited again, folks. I
yeah.
called it first. I said it was going to happen. I told you all a while back on a Sevens Wild that we were getting these guys, and you better be prepared. And guess what happened? We got them. So you can thank me. You can thank me personally, and that's fine. I'll take checks in the mail if you want. Chocolates. Well, no, I'm not a big chocolate fan. Whatever. Whiskey in the mail. You can't do that, can
Hey man, Joe fans, stick around for as long as you can. I've been up since before
you?
5 o'clock this morning, and I work a
Woo!
12-hour shift. And or no, I didn't. Not today. Tomorrow's 12 hours. But
No,
anyway,
I get it, and it is all good, man. You do what you need to do, my
that's
friend.
it. That's it for
Back
sure.
killing you, I get that for sure as well. And hey, if you wake back up or spring back to life, then check back in for a little bit. We'll still be going here, man. We got a lot of stories to get to, so we need to get to them. And we're going to get to one in particular that
Eric and retros aren't numbered either. So I mean,
yeah, yep, yep.
they can do it with other product if they want to.
So, Captain America suffered a humongous week 2 drop, folks. Now,
As we saw,
as we saw, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will tell you, don't worry about it. Don't bother going to the theater and spending your hard-earned money. Captain America Brave New World has the MCU's third biggest second weekend drop, and it was huge. Still number one at the box office, like we mentioned, with 28 million this weekend, but it represents a 68% drop from the
that's what
previous
I
weekend.
said.
70%.
I said 65% drop. So I was right there.
Quantum Mania and the Marvels being the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and here's the deal though, but Quantum Mania still made more money.
it's all about the budget,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's not. I mean, not just talking the budget, but actually at the box office, Quantum Mania made more money, even though it may have had a bigger drop
that's
off.
true. It
It
did.
still brought in more money in the first 2 weeks than this movie did.
But I guess ultimately, when you start getting into the ins and outs, this movie had reshoots. It was filmed quite a bit,
Twice.
mainly in 2023. They were doing reshoots as late as November of 2024, and they took a lot of stuff out. There's a lot of ADR. There's a
Yeah.
lot of ADR in
Oh
this
yeah,
movie.
it's so bad.
It is an absolute
There's a
mess.
completely tacked on character, and there's one character who completely changes his personality at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie. Also, his look, right? The makeup was not
Yes,
continuous, and so he looks younger at the end of the movie than he did at the beginning of the movie.
it's a so look. I saw Quantum Mania. I saw part of the Marvels, but not. I just couldn't
Did I
bits
see
and
the
pieces.
Marvels? I don't
Uh,
think I saw the Marvels. I
but
saw
but
Quantum Mania.
I mean, but who here
Did
in
I
the
see the
chat saw the
Marvels?
Marvels? Like, I'd be curious
I
to see
didn't.
whether or not anybody actually saw the Marvels. And Ant
I
Man and the
did
Wasp:
not.
Quantumania was again a disjointed movie, a lot of
Yeah.
ADR. I'm really not a fan anymore of the nanotech now. Where
Yeah.
used to in the movies they would show you the helmet coming together, and they would show you the uniform or the suit kind of coming on and filling out the arms. And I guess now they feel like, boy, we really need to shave off those 1 second or the 2 seconds out of this movie. So they just do the nanotech now where they just do like this, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's just instantaneous.
Well,
And
what
it's
gets me is that when Falcon gets hit and he hits the ground, his helmet comes off so they can see his face and how he's
okay.
struggling
I
through it.
brought this up. Last week. Why would you fly in from the sky
Not wearing a helmet.
right. No, no, no. Wearing a helmet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Land in a superhero pose.
No, it wasn't even
And then,
landing in a suit. He was standing in a superhero
well,
pose.
but my point is, and then immediately take the helmet off so you can say some really not very funny quip or line
Well,
to
because if
the
he has the
people.
mask on, he can't hear it.
And the actors, yes, but the actors have to be shown on screen.
Well, and
And
this was the whole Dredge Dredd thing too, and that's why Michael
right,
Irvin's Dredge Dredd will always be the best because he never took that damn helmet off, just like he never
it's
took the
a,
helmet
it's
off
a,
in the comics.
it's just so look, I can see a lot of people who will see this movie.
Yeah.
And Graf says here, look, I tried
So
Falcon and Winter
look,
Soldier,
now,
and I'm
now
glad
I
you
got to
tried
say,
it, Graf, because you immediately canceled Disney Plus, which
yep.
I appreciate that you doing, and haven't watched anything since, and I also
So
appreciate you doing that.
I absolutely appreciate that because Falcon and Winter Soldier is the most hateful thing that Disney has ever produced. I mean, out of all of the tongue-in-cheek jokingness or whatever, Falcon and Winter Soldier is actually hateful in its projection of what it wanted to tell the story about, and uh, it's disgusting.
I
Is what it
think
is.
I think the biggest mistake with that series
They didn't take
is
advantage
that
of the two that had so much chemistry. It could have been a buddy cop thing,
yes,
and they could have had so much fun with it, and they could have rolled with it, and people would have loved it because the two of those actors together, Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie, are incredible together, and they work well together, and they didn't use that.
not only did they not use that, but they tried to frame it as that terrorists are good people. They're just misjudged. So you're supposed to sympathize with the terrorists. And then the John Walker character they try to frame as being a horrible person who's
But they can't.
actually fighting the good fight,
He's the
right?
good guy. He
He
is
is
the
the
good
good.
guy.
Yes, I agree. So not to go crazy off on a tangent there. My point being is
Yep.
that Falcon and Winter Soldier, hateful. I will say this: it made a lot of missteps along the way. I think that it was very disingenuous with some of the portrayals of character interactions, and then you have the police scene, which I brought up during a live stream several months ago. That you know it just was very disingenuous. It obviously had an agenda to tell, and it
Yeah.
didn't tell a very good story either
Nope.
way. But on top of that, they I think Disney expects you to watch these shows so that when you go to see a movie like Captain America Brave New World, that somehow you're filled in on She-Hulk, you're filled in on Falcon and Winter Soldier, you're filled
Well,
in on
this movie,
anything else that might play into it. But a lot of people
well,
don't they watch the
yeah.
movies. They don't watch the shows, they watch the movies. And if you came into this after the last Captain America movie, you would be lost
Well,
if you came into this as a Captain America film,
if
right?
if you've watched every Marvel movie that's come out, you'd still be confused because the Avengers
Yes.
are up and running. The Sokovia Accords were repealed, and this whole conversation about restarting the Avengers shouldn't happen because the Avengers are still around. So the whole conversation is moot, and the whole premise of the Sokovia Accords thing doesn't matter because they've been repealed and thrown out the window. So essentially, the whole premise of the movie is bogus if they follow their own lore, but they can't even follow their own continuity within their own movie. Just like
Well,
their
and
TV shows can't follow the
yes.
continuity within their own TV shows.
And that seems to be that you have people writing these films that haven't even watched what came before. Now, that's what it appears like. Now, I can't
Yeah.
speak for them. I don't know. But I will say that's what it seems like. So this almost 70% drop. Look, here's the deal. They're going to try to tell you they spent $180 million on this movie. They spent much more than that, not including the marketing budget. This movie probably would have had to make almost $1 billion just to break even.
Yeah.
It's going to lose so much money that this is
Yep.
a dead in the water movie. It is the moving forward after what we brought up the box office earlier. It's been out for what 11 days, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's dead in the water.
Yep.
and it will not gain much more than what it has. It's going to be on Disney Plus soon,
Yep.
and they're going to take a huge bath for
Yep.
this movie, and with all the reshoots and everything included, no one really knows at this point, I guess, what were they trying to do
Well,
with this?
yeah.
What were they
Well,
trying to
so
do with this movie?
they were trying to recover as much as they could, and they thought that the reshoots would do it, and they kept going back to it because, like, hey, look, we have to put this out. We can't trash this, can this, scrap it. We have to
Right.
put it out, and so they were forced to at that point. Clint, you do know that that actor is Kurt
It's
Russell's son.
Wyatt. Yeah, Wyatt Russell. That is
Yeah,
his
that
son.
that is Kurt Russell's son.
Yeah. Which I'm guessing Clint probably knows,
Probably
maybe
knows.
just joking, but at the same time,
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that look, even during the heydays of the Marvel movies in the 2010s, coming out and just one after another, they always suffered kind of a big drop, right? Now, some of them would have legs, people word of mouth, and they, would continue on, but there was always a big drop. It's just the nature of the business.
Well,
But
I will
that
say that
first week and that first weekend were always so huge because
yeah,
you had to go see the movie. You had to be caught up. And then
I
maybe you went to see it again or maybe something like that.
if you look at the second week drop off, up until Captain Marvel, up until Captain Marvel, that was not. It was less than 50%, I think,
Okay.
most of the
Okay.
time. So
And I want to be sure on that. I mean, I
I,
want to
I'm not
know,
I'm not
you
entirely
know,
positive on that, but I will tell you that it is a more recent thing that they are 65% drop offs. When they are 65% drop offs, that means they're dead in the water. So if the movie had legs, it would be like a 30 to 40% drop off.
so let's just take a look. Now this was 3 years ago. Okay, this was 3 years ago. But if we just look, just from a percentage perspective, just to gain some perspective on this, folks, um, Black Panther 44.7% second week.
Yeah,
Thor, the original, 47%. Iron Man, 48. Doctor
there you
Strange,
go.
49. So as we start to climb the ladder, as you can see, even some of the better ones, right? Guardians of the Galaxy, Galaxy 2, Thor Ragnarok, which, well, is it funny? Yeah, it's a funny movie. Does it destroy the Thor character? Yes, it does. Avengers, the first Avengers film, right?
Yep.
It grossed, 103 million, but it had a 50% drop off.
Okay.
But if you look, most of them are in the 50s,
Yep.
right? Even Civil War, which I thought was a great movie, had a 60% drop off.
So
The
yeah.
difference is the first week sales were
Yep.
massive for those films. And
Well,
this
and
one,
also
however, is not.
and also back in that day, you also have to take into account that you had way more butts in seats than you do
Yes.
now. And even from 3 years ago, you've got way less butts in seats for the same number that's on this ticker. And so that's also disingenuous when they're not really telling you how many people went to see this movie. And I agree with uh, not Chris Gore that we should really start calculating these totals more in the vein of butts and seats.
Yeah, that would be ticket sales would be your better,
How
generator
many
of
tickets sold,
actual,
right? Yeah.
yes, how many tickets were sold. That would be
Well,
your
and,
best
well, I would
best
I
way
would
to,
say I would
to
say
determine.
butts and seats because you get even the people the freebies, right? The freebies need to be
Right.
counted because they're butts and
Right.
seats. And
Right.
that's the way France calculates their movie totals. And so that's
Yes.
something that I think would benefit us because the inflation rates are screwing up everybody's perception. And Disney loves that because they can skew it to what
Right.
they want it to say, which
Right.
is not accurate.
Yeah, and Clint here, Disney needs to come clean on the budget. They will. You're going to find out here.
No, not for this movie. They won't.
Well, where did they film most of it? Georgia? Not in
Yes,
the UK, right?
correct.
So
They
so
only have to do
yeah,
that if
so
they
they'll
film
be
in the
able
UK.
to they'll be able to kind of massage those numbers a little
But
bit.
I will tell you from insider sources that 187 million was the cost of the reshoots for Captain America 4.
Okay.
The total production budget is roughly 425 million as an estimate.
Yeah, definitely $400 million. That's why, at the very least 900 million just to break even. And
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily cover like the marketing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously not going to hit there. They're going to take a big bath. Eric Thurman says I bought 2 tickets for opening night, got called into work. I since heard bad reviews and haven't gone to see it. Yeah, don't even waste your time. That
Man,
that is a
it's not.
couple hours you're not going to get back, and it's just not. I mean, I wouldn't even watch it on streaming. I don't think it's even worth your time on streaming. It's just not a good movie. So yeah, that massive week 2 drop. Next week we'll check back in and see kind of where that went after that, just
if
to kind of
if
get
it
an
has
idea.
another 60% drop, it'll be on streaming mid-March.
Uh, Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And
It'll be there for spring break.
by then there's actually going to be other things on that you probably want to check out. But by then, and then it's going to be lost. It's just going to be lost to time. Uh, James Bond, James Bond, Barbara Broccoli has basically
Broccoli.
sold broccoli, whatever you want to call it. Uh, Finally pressured after a $1 billion buyout by Amazon and Jeff Bezos. The James Bond series has been sold, and Amazon is in basically full control of the James Bond series. It says what's next for the franchise. Now, the reason I brought this up is not to go through this article, but to get your opinions on where James Bond is as a character in 2025, and considering the history of the franchise and kind of what James Bond is about. Where would Amazon go with this? Is this about spinoffs? Is
Look,
this about hiring Henry Cavill? As I
look.
saw Jeff Bezos ask fans who they wanted, and I'll
Yeah,
bring that
no.
up momentarily.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think Barbara Broccoli lost all perspective on things a long time ago. Uh, she was rather directionless and didn't know what to do. So she's like, okay, fine, let's just kill him. And they finally brought it up and they killed him. Okay, so now they're like, whatever. The thing that she did stand for, the thing that I appreciate that she stood for, was this is not a commodity. This is James Bond. This is not something that is product after product after product, right? You have to contain it to movies. It has to be movies. And she stood firm on that. Now, she doesn't have control of that anymore. Amazon has it. Amazon is a corporation. A corporation needs to make money off of their products. They just paid a
Yes.
bunch of money for this. They want to make their money back at least. So what they're going to do is they're going to milk this franchise because it's a franchise that for as much as they can, they're going to make TV series about Q, about M, about Moneypenny,
Money
about
Penny.
about 009, about 006. They're going to be making all kinds of stories about everything else that they can get around to completely obliterate and eviscerate Ian Fleming's work.
Do you care about a Money Penny series or a Q series? Most people have no freaking idea
So
about any other character
James
other
Bond,
than 007.
but I will say this too: James Bond is not a marketable franchise in the
N-
current environment. It
Not
could
not in
be,
today's world.
it could be, but it's not because the kids today they don't care about James Bond. He's this guy from the 60s. Who the hell cares about this old man from the 60s, right? They're not even thinking about Pierce Brosnan. They're not even thinking about Daniel Craig. They don't care because Daniel Craig's Bond was shit. Okay, Casino Royale was good because it was the
Yes.
origin story, right?
Yes.
So that was good, and it's pretty darn close to the novel, the books. But then they destroyed James Bond in every movie after that, and
Right.
none of them were good. Quantum of Solace is probably one of the worst out of all of the franchise.
D-
Uh, and there's some that I like for certain things here or there, whatever. But for the most part, it didn't ever feel like James Bond because James Bond was Roger Moore, James Bond was Pierce Brosnan, James Bond
Sean
was Sean
Connery.
Connery.
Right. Do you think, and I'm curious about the chat too. The reason I want to ask this is because number one, does anybody in the chat actually really care about the James Bond character and or franchise? Are you a big fan? Like, or are you a fan at all, really? If they came out with a new movie, cool, I'll watch it because, I like that. But I think the idea of a drinking champagne at the best places in the world, jet setting across the world, you know, womanizing, if you want to say that kind of character, just doesn't really fit in
No,
today's environment. And
it
I guess
doesn't.
the reason I bring this up is because if you want to go back and do a retroactive, you set it in a different time period, a period piece,
Yep.
so to speak, with James Bond. I'm okay with that. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
But back in the day when Bond really came out, they started making films. People weren't flying transcontinental. It was very rare, right? It
Yep.
wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, not to say rare, but it wasn't as common as it is today. So thinking about a guy who's sneaking undercover and betting beautiful women to get secrets or whatever, and then drinking champagne or wine at the top of the whatever, a martini at
It's glamorous.
it's glamorous. A lot of those things have been broken down to this point
Yep.
now, right? Where
Yeah.
people, you and I, could book a vacation and go do that.
Yep.
I could do that. So back in the day, in the '60s, '70s, that was not the norm. It kind of is the norm now.
Yep.
And so, does it have a place? Does James Bond have a place in today's world where you could make this interesting, other than what they've done, which is break the character down?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, like I said, you start deconstruction and you've ruined the entire genre forever and perpetuity. And so he's already been broken down. He's been deconstructed. Can you go back and tell stories in the '60s again and be successful? Well, you have to do it on a real low budget because the market is going to be so small. Um, it's
Yes.
just it's not really a marketable thing. If you bring it up to today and you try to make it in today's world, it doesn't make sense. We all already know about all this technology, all this spyware that I can go down to the store and buy at freaking Best Buy, right? And I can convert it to spy tech really easy. I've got a freaking spy store around the corner. I can get a lot of this stuff
Yeah.
too,
Yeah. Right.
right?
Right.
So it's not special anymore. It's not magical anymore. It's not
Yeah.
glamorous anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you bring that part of it back.
I just don't. And again, don't get me wrong. Look, as much as I rail against a lot of the current agenda and the downplaying of men and the misogyny and all that, at the same token, I just don't know what you do with a character like this unless you really go hardcore in on making this a period piece,
Yep.
and that's just it, right? You
That's
say,
it.
hey, we're going to set in the '60s, and it's going to be of a time. And money, Graf says Money Penny, Bond, Q, whomever, as long as the character is played by Sydney Sweeney, I'll watch. I can't argue with that, my friend. That is no joke. I
Yeah.
would watch Sydney Sweeney play a grass growing if I could. Like, I mean, as stupid as it sounds, yeah, I think we all probably would. But you get the point, though. It's
Yep.
like, and that's pretty good graph. I can't argue with that. Yeah, Johnny Reno, not since Roger Moore. Sabir says I was through Pierce Brosnan. I still watch GoldenEye regularly. It's one of my favorites. So that's actually
Yeah.
somebody who actually does still enjoy the Bond
I,
stuff, the 007 stuff.
I mean, Goldeneye was amazing, so you
No, of
can't
course
downplay
it
that
was.
one.
And it
So
spawned one of the greatest games of all time in the
clearly,
history of gaming. Three-star draw says Bond caught on here because we were in a Cold War and you could still
yeah.
be misogynistic. Yeah, no, I
Well,
mean,
it wasn't just it wasn't about misogyny, right?
right.
It was about
You took the words out of my mouth.
it was about a place and time and the way relationships kind of were in that time frame. Men and women's roles were different. So,
Yes. Yeah, clapping them cheeks, Eric. I'm with you. Here's what's funny, Matthew. Okay, people still clapping cheeks, dude. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like there's still guys out there, there's still rich people, there's still people who have a lot of money, there's still people who don't have a lot of money. They're still entertaining, still enjoying life. They're still going out there and, as Eric Thurman says, clapping them cheeks. So let's not pretend like that stuff
Yeah.
don't happen anymore. Let's not pretend like it's just a Puritan society and oh, it's so misogynistic for a man to want to sleep with a woman. How horrible is that? What a terrible person. It's so stupid to say that.
Yeah.
You know, let's also not forget, folks, in the Bond movies, the Bond girls and or some of the villains had their own agendas and
Yep.
their own motivations.
That's right.
So it's not like they were innocent
That's right.
bystanders or innocent participants in James Bond's devious ways, right?
Right.
I mean,
I
come
mean,
on.
they were all playing the manipulation game. Very few times was it a one-sided manipulation. Both parties
100%.
wanted something, right? And
Yes.
that's why it's not misogynistic, right?
Yes,
It is
exactly.
both sides were manipulating each other for a certain goal, and then Bond just gets the upper hand, and he gets his way versus the assassin getting their way,
I
or
mean,
the thief
yes.
getting their way, or
Yep.
whatever it is.
There you go. 3 Star Draw says, I like Bond. I don't love it. Don't care about new movies. I'll watch them if they're on, but I'm not going to the theater. They will totally reinvent Bond for the worst
Yeah.
or worse. And yes, I fear for that. Now, I will say,
Yeah.
Barbara Bacoli was one of the people that wanted to break the character down. She wanted to get less misogynistic. We shall
I,
see if that changes,
well,
right?
yeah, and I can see what she's trying to say there in terms of modernizing Bond. I mean, we see things differently today than we did 30 years ago, right?
Right. I
And
agree.
so I understand that that would play off differently, but he's a spy. He's a cold, calculated killer, right?
Yes.
He is dispassionate, and he shows emotion when he's using it as a manipulation tool to get somebody to lower their guard or to antagonize someone or whatever. He's very calculated in every single thing he does. He's a freaking sociopath.
Don't you
Okay.
think if you were a spy in today's world, that still wouldn't be part of your game?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
would. I mean, what are
Absolutely.
we kidding ourselves? Like
Yeah.
this still would be part of your game. You're not,
Right.
I mean, you're not going to be thinking about social agenda and shit like that if this is what you do for a living.
Yep.
And there may very well be people out there that do this. I assume there are. I don't know,
And if you
but
want the
it's
best
still part of your game.
interpretation of modern James Bond, go watch the TV show Chuck with Zachary Levi and Adam Baldwin. It's hilarious. It's fun. And it's a spy thing, and it's goofy, and it's modern, and it's got Brandon Ralph in it, and it's got a whole bunch of other people in it. Go watch that one.
Pound. James Pound. And hey, listen, Eric, just so you know, that boundary, well, I said that boundary. There already was a character years ago that actually was in one of the movies.
Yeah.
Just so you know, there
Oh
actually
yeah.
already was. A
Yep.
lot of people don't remember or don't
I
know
do.
that,
I remember that.
but there actually was years ago, many
Yep.
years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yes. But nonetheless, the reason I brought this up is because Amazon boss Jeff Bezos, and we're not going to belabor the point, but just a couple more things I wanted to bring up on the James Bond thing, is that Jeff Bezos says who would be the next James Bond. He wanted to know. Well, who do you think, Matthew? Who do you think in the chat? I want to know. Who do you think everyone voted for? If you just threw out a few names.
Yeah. I
Who
mean,
would be the top of your
there's
list?
clearly only one person.
There's clearly, but who?
He's a Brit. He's
Okay,
popular. He loves
he loves
genre.
video
He loves
games.
video games, but he loves culture. He loves genre, and he's a nerd to the nth degree. He loves the things that he loves, and he understands when people love the things that he loves, love the things that they love. So yeah,
Let's see,
Henry,
Pedro
Henry,
Pascal,
yeah, Henry.
Ryan Reynolds,
No,
Scarlett Johansson. That's great.
there you go. There you go.
You
Yeah,
just said the first name. Overwhelmingly, overwhelmingly, who would you pick as the next James Bond? Let's say Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
Answer.
Yep.
Let's see the results. 53% Henry Cavill.
Yep.
The next closest is Idris Elba at 10%.
Well, and that's amazing. Not amazing to me. It's amazing to me that he's only 10%.
And
And
this is
but
only 100. This is just 113 votes
oh,
on this
oh,
story,
okay, okay,
but overwhelmingly on
yeah,
the Jeff Bezos question, it was
yeah.
overwhelmingly Henry Cavill.
And, I mean, it's got to be Henry Cavill, and
Yes,
Idris Elba is the only other choice. I mean, honestly, he is the
right.
only other choice.
Yeah,
It's between those two guys, and Idris Elba has already said he didn't want to play the character to be the first Black Bond because he didn't want to be tokenized. I mean,
correct.
and that's what he has said already.
Yes.
And while everybody I think would love him as that because everybody loves his voice, he's got a lot of comedy in the stuff that he does. I mean, he played Knuckles in the Sonic movies for God's sakes, right? I mean, you know, he can make fun of himself from time to time. So, you know, it's good.
Ooh. Sorry, I just Queen Latifah Viper Scout. Yeah, well, she is the equalizer,
Equalizer.
and
I was going to say,
I've
have you
I've
seen that?
I've watched a 60-something-year-old woman chase down criminals on the street and jump and catch them as the equalizer. She is very
How does she get off the ground and not cause an
sneaky fast.
earthquake? Oh, sorry.
Sneaky fast that Latifah she is. Johnny Reno says Samuel Motherfucking Jackson.
Yeah, but he's not
Look, a little
British
too old, but here's the deal with Henry
and not
Cavill.
British.
If you go back, you can actually, folks, you can go back and watch when they were doing the Casino Royale auditions. You can actually watch several actors audition for that part, and Henry Cavill was one of them. And it came
Yep.
down to him and Daniel Craig, and they
Yep.
determined that Cavill was too young at the time. He would have gotten the part if he was a little bit older. I've watched and it's funny to watch these. It's like they're done in a hotel room. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
well, it's a casting couch,
And
right?
yes, yeah, pretty much. And they're not dressed up, and it's very weird to watch like some of these stars that audition for the role of James Bond for Casino Royale. It really is, and Henry is one of them. And yeah, he
You know
was a
what?
little too young at the time to
You know
do
what
it, but
gets
you can
me?
tell he was pretty good.
You know what gets me?
What's that?
Casino Royale is supposed to be his first mission.
I
Why?
know. That's
Why
why I
wouldn't
thought.
he be young?
I know. But he was like 20 years old. He was like 22 years old, 23 years old, and
Yeah.
I guess maybe just to look, he looked too old, or too young. So, really quickly though, just to get off this topic, who would be a better Bond villain than Bezos himself, ladies and gentlemen?
Damn right.
There you go, Jeff Bezos, starring in the next James Bond movie as the villain, and yeah. That looks
And,
pretty
and
good,
you
doesn't
know
it?
who the Bond girl has to be if Bezos is the villain?
Well, it's his wife, right?
Well, no, I was gonna say Olivia Munn.
Oh, stop it. I have a soft spot for Munn.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
super soft spot for Munn, my friends. Super soft
Not a
spot
hard
for Munn.
spot. I mean, come on. I mean, really?
I do. I got a hard spot, a soft spot. Holy moly. I mean, you're let's see here quickly. I know I'm pulling away from the mic, but oh my
There's
gosh.
what's up, Larry? Good to see
Yes,
you, Punk with Toys.
Larry Neck is in the house. Let's see.
Tony's Figs.
Quickly, folks, when I tell you I have a soft spot for Olivia Munn, I truly, truly do. But that comes from watching G4
Oh
TV,
yeah,
right?
no,
All those
that
years.
lame
And
bikini outfit was perfect.
yes, Leia, the maid outfit. I mean, there's
She had
so
so
many.
much fun on that show.
And here's just one clip
There
of
you
the
go.
love
You
of my
found
life.
it.
3, 2, 1. Jump, Olivia! Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. Who's a big girl with the pie? 25, 3, 2, 1.
Whew.
Sorry, I can't help myself. I do. Oh my God, G4
And you know
TV
what?
back in the day. Chris
Honestly-
Gore on DV Doomsday. Loved it, baby.
Honestly, it is a guilty pleasure to watch that terrible X-Men movie just to see her as
Oh, are you
Psylocke.
kidding me? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves. Did want to say hello to Tony's Figs and obviously, yes, a punk with toys. Hello, fools. And by the way, folks, not this Friday, but next Friday on a Pop Blender Unfilter, I will be having as a guest a punk with toys on to hang out, ask him some questions, and try to bring something different to that. Not just the hey, when did you start skateboarding, man? Like I wanna find some other stuff out and kind of have some fun and do a little rapid fire and whatever. And so that should be fun. So if you guys aren't doing anything next Friday, next week, it should be a pretty good time. So I appreciate him coming on and hanging out with me on an unfiltered. So that should be a good time. So anyway, just want to plug that.
Get it.
As I should.
Make that money.
Yeah, Johnny Reno. Yeah, quite possibly. And yeah, let's see here. Mid Joseph says Timothy Dalton was a great Bond. I thought Dalton was fine.
Hey, you know what?
Not the best. I thought he was fine. He
I
got
thought
a
he was
lot
good.
of heat. Got a
Yeah.
lot of heat.
Well, no, he didn't get as much heat as that one. What was his name? Nesbitt, or whatever.
Yeah, but that's.
That was not as good, but the movie was okay.
I mean, yeah.
Timothy Dalton was better as Niles Calder in Doom Patrol. He was great as the lead Time Lord going after Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I mean, Timothy Dalton's had some great roles, and I like him in the more sinister roles.
Yeah, yep, I'm with you. Lazenby and so
Yes.
and I'm not gonna bring it up. I do have like a timeline of the history of the Bond actors, and like I did save those articles. I'm not gonna sit here and belabor the point, guys. I don't want to bore you with the James Bond lore and all that stuff. And most of us, maybe we grew up. I remember as a kid growing up, and the friend that lived across the backyard, his dad was really into Bond and had all the VHS tapes, and it was like 24 hours a day Bond. It seemed like every time I went over there, he had it on the TV, and I appreciated it. But it was definitely, kind of goofy. It was in that time period where Bond was chasing trends. Instead of being what it was about, it was like, okay, Star Wars came out. Oh, we got to go to space. There's Moonraker, or just like the different trends that were happening at the time. Bond was chasing those trends. And
I mean, that
I
Jaws
just remember it being
storyline
just
was
kinda
awesome. If
goofy.
you follow Jaws' storyline, one of the only reoccurring villains in the Bond timeline, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Clint
joking.
Jorgensen,
It was
yeah,
cheesy
of
as
course
hell.
you are. Peter Dinklage could pull off the Bond role. He could pull off half the role. He could pull off half the role.
No.
Okay.
We heard you the first time.
Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this on, ladies and gentlemen? Is this thing on? I don't know. It's a non-smoking show at 7 p.m. Smoking show at 11. I'll be here all week. But anyway, yeah, Joe Fan 84, by the way, who woke back up. So, yes, my dad is like that with Western films, and I know a lot of dads with Western films are like, he's watching Fox News or he's watching a Western. Man, Joe Fan, I'd say a lot of our folks are probably in that same ballpark there, right?
That's all my dad does these days.
Yeah, man. No, I get it. I do. So anyway, the biggest news, and I mean the biggest news, ladies and gentlemen, came out about 1:00 in the morning last night. I was still awake, still up. Are you happy?
Is she gone?
Is
she
gone?
here?
Is she
Kathleen
here?
Kennedy's status is queer.
Queer. All right. Kathleen Kennedy to depart Lucasfilm by
On Friday and
years
come back on Monday.
in. She will be going on Friday and coming back to the office on Monday, folks.
So do you know where this article originated from? What the original source?
Originally, I really don't.
So it was, I think it's called The Puck, right? And so
Okay.
the author who wrote this in 2021 was the first person who released the information that Kathleen Kennedy had re-signed her Lucasfilm contract and was continuing on as president of Lucasfilm. So he was the first person to report that. This is the same person who is telling everyone that she's going to retire at the end of this year.
Okay.
And she's 72 years old. And she, I'm sure she wants to see the Ray movie through, and she may still. So we don't know that this is accurate because these are just speculations. People close to Kathleen Kennedy have already said that this is speculation.
Right.
This isn't confirmed, and so the notion is out there, and they're probably testing it to see where it happens, and they probably won't reveal it until uh, uh, what's it called? Celebration.
Celebration, right. So this is the article. This is Puck. This is the article,
Yeah.
23 hours ago. After a mixed 13-year run. A mixed 13-year run. How about a shitty 13-year
Well,
run,
okay,
folks?
so
Not a mixed
look,
get out of here.
The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi were successes. Rogue One
You
was
lost
a, was a
half your
moderate
audience.
was a moderate success. Those movies were successful in that terms, but they caused the complete downfall of everything else because nothing else was a success. Nothing else made money besides those three movies.
I mean, look, from The Force Awakens to Rise of Skywalker, they lost half the audience. Half the audience. And then to oversee the Indiana Jones movie that came out,
Yeah.
right?
No.
To oversee Willow, which was delisted, folks. It cost them more money to use the servers up on Disney Plus than to keep it on there to show it because no one was watching it. Lucasfilm, since she has been in charge, you had a Force Awakens, right? Force Awakens. And after that, it's all downhill. Mandalorian season 1, okay, fine. Season 2 started to show some cracks. They rebounded, right? They rebounded at the end of season 2. But I gotta tell you, man, like, she's done nothing for Star Wars and Lucasfilm since taking over.
Yep.
Honestly, and
No.
I think anybody could
If
have
you
run
go-
The Force Awakens. I think you could have had anyone.
Yeah. If you go back throughout history and you look at all of the heads of film companies,
Yes.
she is the worst. She has lost more money than any other studio head has ever lost for a company, and she's still there.
I mean, it's truly fascinating to be able to.
It really
and I'm going to
is.
show you. I'm going to show you Gina Carano's tweet. By the way, this was after hearing the news. This was after hearing the news about Kathleen Kennedy stepping down, and of course, she still will be summoned to court. She still will have to be involved in the discovery and the Gina Carano lawsuit. But I'm gonna show you real quick.
Let's think about timelines here. Yeah, let's think about timelines here. Okay, because Kathleen Kennedy won't be stepping down until the end of the year.
That's
according
correct.
to this, right?
Yes.
So she's going to finish out this year. And during this year, discovery in the Gina Carano case is going to happen. And Kathleen
Yes.
Kennedy is named as one of the people in the suit. So she will have to testify in court
Yes.
on the Gina Carano matter and her involvement in what she has done in that whole process and how she may or may not have instigated this whole thing, this whole 57-1 torture session that they demanded that she participate in, amongst other things. And the fact that she was the one that called for her getting rid of her. And they're going to have to deal with that as it comes. So all of this is going to be coming out. So if Celebration doesn't go well and this lawsuit doesn't go well, she's just gonna fade away. She's gonna, accept her accolades and stuff.
So Matthew, you know this. Like, if you start to see, and this is a telltale sign, and I want you to hit some of these starred comments as well, is that if she starts to receive like lifetime achievement, if she starts to receive awards like that at different award shows here this year or whatever, or at the beginning of next year, whatever it is, then it's a done deal, right?
Yeah,
it's a done deal.
done.
Once you start getting that, then you'll know. But unless we have that kind of stuff, and like it says here, the Star Wars chief is staying on at Disney despite excuse me, a report that she's leaving, at least
Yep.
for now. This is CNN, and this was several hours ago.
Right.
But I want you to hit those starred comments really quickly before
So-
we dig a little further into this.
Yeah. So I forget which one.
Let's see. You
Anyway.
got Viper Scout right here.
It's all messed
Hamill
up.
is
Yep.
doing his fair share to ruin Luke's memory. I agree with
So
Viper Scout
he's
100%.
he's been doing that for a long time, because that quote that William Shatner brought up in his tweets and made a whole big deal about it was from a long time ago. And I understand what Mark may have been trying to do, and that's like, hey, you want to project whatever you want on this stuff. It's art. You project what you want to project on it. That's kind of what he was saying. So he wasn't actually saying anything about Luke Skywalker's sexuality. He was saying, if that's what you want to project on him, that's what you project on him. And on that level, I can respect that. But
Right.
on the other side of things, he's gotten so political and divisive that he is driving people away in droves.
Yes,
Uh,
people literally are like, you know what? I don't need to hear any more from him. He's
Well,
ruining,
yeah.
like Viper Scott says, like literally ruining people's idea of
Yeah.
the character. You know,
Well, and your idea is shattered. And then The Last Jedi comes out, and it's all confirmed that he is an asshole and a
Right.
loser, and
yeah,
Luke was
he's
nothing, right?
he's a shitty dude.
And Punk, it was 5 years ago that Mike Zero started reporting this, and Doomcock was reporting it a year before that, because
That's correct.
Doomcock was starting to report this right after the backlash from The Last Jedi was fully realized, and Doomcock has been
Right.
saying it forever, and that was the big joke, and that's what caused a rift in one of the communities, because Doomcock wanted somebody to be canceled for calling him a bullshit artist, and it was a big fight. But
Yeah.
most people have moved on since then from that.
So
But
as this says, just to kind of read into this a little bit, it says, this is again from CNN. Now, this was several hours ago. There's articles from 30 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, whatever. They're all speculation because Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Disney, no one has commented on this story. It says rumors that Lucasfilm's longtime president may be leaving Disney have swirled for some time, but reports that she'll retire at the end of their contract may be jumping the gun, which the contract ends at the end of this year. Says that Puck reported, I'm glad they're giving him proper credit, is that at 71 years old, expected to step down as president of Lucasfilm at the end of 2025. However, it does say, a source familiar with the matter tells CNN that's not the case, emphasizing there's nothing there right now. Any announcement of her retirement, if indeed there's anything to announce, will be made public when actual decisions are made.
yeah,
You can try to kind of read between the lines there. I think if we, like I said, if we start to see some of those awards being given away, if we start to see, retrospectives made, okay, maybe there's something to put to that. But I guess,
but if they have
next
actual
step-
footage, all they're going to see is her bringing coffee to everybody and offering shitty solutions.
okay, and that's back in the day, right?
Yeah,
When she was married to Frank Marshall, and
she wouldn't be
was
anywhere without
getting
Frank.
no, of course not, and getting coffee for Spielberg and Lucas and the like.
And
But-
as Lucas and Spielberg have said, she offered really bad advice. Is like
That's
stuff that
true.
you would never do.
That's true. Now I
And-
know a lot of
and
these
Marsha
articles,
Lucas says the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. If you actually read into it, yeah, she was just there. If you read into this, a lot of times these articles will try to dismiss the fact of that those three movies, the sequel trilogy, just continued to lose money and lose audience members. They will kind of just go right past that. Right. And they'll just talk about how The Force Awakens was such a success and reinvigorated the series. But we all know the Disney Plus shows and all the stuff has been pretty bad shit. And I think most of us would all agree with that.
I mean, some people would argue against that. I mean, Larry Lawrence would argue against that. And he liked the Obi-Wan show. He likes The Mandalorian, and so there's been more Star Wars Disney Plus shows that he's liked than not. and he enjoys watching it with his kids. And Brick Something will say the same thing. He likes watching these
That's
things
interesting.
with their family. So there's a lot of people out there that do.
There are, but the numbers don't bear that out as far as
Well,
the majority. I mean,
the
we can't.
majority,
Let's
right.
not dismiss that. Like
No,
we have to
I'm
understand.
not dismissing it. I'm just saying
Right.
that there's a lot of people out there that are kind of indifferent or kind of in the middle or kind of just watching it because, and that still exists.
Right.
And so you can't discount that. But at the same time, it's not enough to sustain a brand that needs to perform so highly, especially when they're
Right.
spending as much money as they are on it.
Now,
So that quality has dropped off, and you can't deny that because it has dropped off.
Oh, I mean, that's objectively.
Yeah.
That's not subjectively. That is objectively.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of quality writing,
Yeah.
it just isn't. I mean, anyway, we've
Yeah.
gone over that. But what I want to know, Matthew, is who would you want to take over this franchise? Do you want Dave Filoni? Do you
Nope.
want Jon Favreau?
Nope.
Or do you want someone who maybe has a fresh perspective from the outside looking in and would take over that franchise and do something different with it, or not as close to it? I mean, what do you think? I'm not throwing any names out there. I'm just saying.
Okay.
What
All right.
do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. I want Thor Skywalker to take over.
Oh,
If
wow.
you-
I like Thor. I like Thor and his wife.
Yeah.
I like them. I like listening to them. I think they're cool as shit. I
do
enjoy
too.
those guys.
I do too.
I actually would take Star Wars Theory. And he's
Oh,
going to be coming to
absolutely.
ICCC
Yep.
near me. And I can't wait to meet
I-
him because he's
you know-
coming to that con here soon. And I can't wait to meet Star Wars
Thor
Theory. But
Sky-
I would take Star Wars Theory. But Thor Skywalker, folks, check that channel out. Thor
Yeah, no kidding.
Skywalker. It's a good channel. He's really
It
good.
is. He's really good. And I mean, Star Wars Theory would be the clear choice, right? I mean, everybody knows he's got the biggest Star Wars YouTube channel ever, bigger than the Star Wars YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
And the Star Wars Explained people hate him so much because they don't understand what authenticity is. And those two people, the Star Wars Explained people, have tried to destroy people's lives over this YouTube stuff.
Right.
Including Gina Carano. They've gone after her too. They ban people for disagreeing with them on their channel. They block them from making comments. If you disagree with them one time, you're blocked from
That's
comments.
so weak, dude.
I mean, they have nothing. And since people started really paying attention, they started dropping off of the Star Wars Explained content and realized, oh, these are the biggest shills that there are. They are literally getting paid by Lucasfilm to come down to their studios and do these interviews and do these videos for them. And because, they had such a big following, but now they don't anymore.
Right.
And now they don't have access. And now the product is total garbage and everybody knows it. Everybody's been saying it and they weren't listening because they wanted their shill package. And they disparaged Star Wars Theory to the nth degree that it got people to watch Star Wars Theory and people to pay attention. And Star Wars Theory is one of the most genuine people I've ever seen do a podcast. He tried to be friendly with everyone for such a long time. And then he realized you can't be friends with people who want you dead.
Yep.
Who literally want you dead.
Yes.
Right. So he had to do his own thing and he started doing his own thing. And he's always really done his own thing. And he is brilliant on the Star Wars stuff. I mean, he's second to Ryan Kinnell.
Well, he's spending his own money. He's spending his own money to make Vader, episode two. He started.
Films.
Yes, he started making lightsabers, right?
Yeah.
And selling those.
And sabers are good.
And that's to fund.
Yeah.
You're talking about $1 million.
Yeah.
To fund a fan film that he can't make money off of because he signed an agreement with Lucasfilm, whereas other creators have been able to make money and crowdfund their Star Wars fan movies. He had to sign an agreement that he would not make a single penny off of his own productions, which is crazy. That's how much they hate him. That's how much they hate this guy.
And Pablo Hidalgo, the head of the Lucasfilm Story Group, went after him personally and attacked him for having an emotional response to a Star Wars thing that Disney produced. And the reason that he went after him is because Jon Favreau didn't get it approved by Kathleen Kennedy to do what he did. And what he did was he emotionally stimulated the fan base and like, holy crap, this is awesome. This connection is awesome. The story potential is amazing. amazing. And then Kathleen Kennedy came in and crushed Jon Favreau so much so that he doesn't want to be associated with The Mandalorian ever again. He backed away and hasn't been working on the project. He gets producer credit, but he hasn't done a goddamn thing on it
Right.
because Kathleen Kennedy came back and crushed him and basically booted him out for putting Luke Skywalker in that episode.
Yeah, it's amazing, and for those that don't know the history of it, and I can fully understand that why you wouldn't, especially not keeping up with that. But you have the largest YouTube channel, Star Wars YouTube channel on the planet, bigger than the official YouTube channel. The guy watches Luke Skywalker return at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, has a emotional response, crying, watching it, which I got an emotional response watching it too because I thought it was fucking awesome.
And it's not a Kevin Smith emotional response. It wasn't that fake crying bullshit.
Yes,
this was like literal. He's got, he's trying to hold it back and be professional, but man, he got emotional.
And then the director of lore, the lore master for Lucasfilm, puts out a tweet making fun of the guy for reacting to something that they themselves made and put a lot into and was hoping for that reaction. And you know what really pisses me off about a lot of it? No one came to his defense. Jon Favreau didn't come to his defense. Dave Filoni didn't come to his defense. Mark Hamill didn't come to his defense. You know why? Because they've been told he's a misogynist. He's an istaphobe. He likes George Lucas Star Wars instead of Disney Star Wars. Oh, the humanity.
The only people that came to his defense were Gary Beekler, Jeremy Griggs, Ryan Cannell.
Yes.
These guys over here that are supposed to be the worst people on the planet came to his defense and say, what the fuck?
It's amazing that was where we were at when that aired. And I felt the same way. Like, I was like, this is freaking awesome. I've been wanting to see this for 40 years.
Yeah, no kidding.
And a lot of people are, and they target this dude, but this dude's winning, obviously.
Yeah, he's still
every
winning.
con he's winning. He has the longest line at every con. He's going to be at the con here in Nashville soon, or just outside of Nashville. It's 20 minutes, 30 minutes down the road, whatever, 20 minutes. And I can't wait to go meet him. It's going to be fun. May or may not buy a saber. I do have one, but we'll see. And yeah, Johnny Reno, then you do know the history about it, obviously. By the way, War Chest, just so you know, yes, that episode did break the net. And I did clue everybody in on some breaking news. You were out on a date tonight. I did break that news. And so yes, so while you were enjoying yourself, we were enjoying you enjoying yourself. So yeah, Viper Scout, no, that's awesome. Made your friend watch The Mandalorian just so he could watch that scene, because for a lot of us that was very inspiring. It was a fun scene. It was awesome. It was a way to finish up season 2. And yet
it opened up so many possibilities where they could have retconned the sequel trilogy.
Yes.
Right then and there.
But not so much. Yeah,
and that's what Kathleen Kennedy was so pissed about.
Yep, that's right. And so we did not get that, and instead we got Thank you, Last Jedi. You're awesome. Anyway, so all right, let's see here. Johnny Reno says I was in his stream chat when that happened, and it made me choke up a bit. I was. So Johnny Reno, that's so funny because I was too.
Yep.
I watched his watch parties and watched along with him watching those episodes. So I'm with you, man. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that was cool. And the same way, it made me choke up a bit too. It was like, this is awesome, dude. Like, and something I definitely wanted to see. Viper Scott says it's great seeing that scene sync to I Need a Hero. Yes, I've seen that, and it is freaking awesome. War Chest says she's cool. We can't have a date again until she gets off of house arrest. She has a curfew. Yeah, that sometimes poses a problem, War Chest. I get it. The ankle bracelet and all that stuff. You can only go so far. You can have dinner on the roof. Dinner on the rooftop. That's about it. So anyway, look, Kathleen Kennedy, is she leaving? We don't know. We shall see.
It's all up
at the end
air.
Of this year.
The likelihood is good that she would leave, but at the same time, there's downsides to it too, because she really does want to make this Rey movie. If she leaves, that
of
Rey
course.
movie is in jeopardy of ever coming out, of
Yeah,
ever being
no.
made if she
That
leaves.
that's her magnum opus. She wants
Yep.
that to be her final, what I would call it, nail in the coffin of Star Wars. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But
Well,
we'll
and I
see.
mean, we saw last week, Daisy Ridley was out there begging for a job.
Oh yeah, nah. Well, so Kathleen Kennedy leads us into Andor season 2 trailer. Let's take a look at the trailer. Now I got to tell you, folks, they
Have
have
you guys seen the
music.
trailer? Have you guys
Yeah.
seen the trailer before in the chat? Have you guys already seen this trailer, or did you even know that it dropped
Yeah, did you
today?
even know that it dropped? Probably not for most. I'm going to tell you, just to preface, I loved Andor season 1.
Yeah.
It's funny because one of the streams you and I watched, the real BBC, that had Hill versus Babyface,
Yeah.
had Mahler and Gary Beekler, Nerdrotic. They were talking about it today, and what's
Yep.
funny, and I love this, is that they were talking about how Andor they didn't quite like because it's a slow burn, but then they've been told that the new Daredevil is a slow burn for the first few episodes. So I had to comment and say, so Andor wasn't good because it's a slow burn, but Daredevil Born Again is going to be good because it's a slow burn. It's like, so you can't quite have it both
All right.
ways.
We're gonna get to that Daredevil conversation in a minute.
We are, but
we got to
anyway.
get there.
So let's get into and let's see here. See, Warchest says, yeah, can't wait for Andor. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the writing
really
was
liked it.
great.
Yeah.
I thought the Lucian character was amazing.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that series. Yes, is it a slow burn? I guess.
Yeah.
But like, if the acting is good, if the writing is good, then who gives a shit?
See,
Because it's good, right?
my biggest problem with Andor is that it needed to come out before Rogue One. Now, after Rogue One, it's like the Black Widow movie. You know, all the
You know what
characters are
happens.
dead.
You know what's going to happen. Yes, you do.
You know
Yes,
where they
there's
die.
no mystery.
So there's no risk. There's
Right.
no potential that something's going to happen to him before we get to that part of the timeline.
Right. Right.
So a lot of the risk is taken out. So how do you tell a good story? But they did.
Yes.
They told a good story, and so I'm hopeful that this story will be
All
good
right.
as well.
So here's the trailer. There is music, and I can't really play it because I'm assuming this is copyrighted music. And the music,
Yeah,
just to give
probably.
you just a little taste, it's kind of weird, and it's not Star Wars. But here's just
Not
a
at all.
little taste of the music, and then I'm going to turn it down.
That's enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
So-
odd. So, but I want to show. So there's a lot of action, right? As we're gearing up, there's a lot of action in this
So-
second season.
I mean, they go from action set piece to action set piece in this, and you know, it's got some interesting points to it, and they keep throwing up these quotes and
Yes.
and talking about how the critics loved it, how it was well received, everybody, it's so good, emotional, and sophisticated. Sophisticated. What a word.
Sophisticated. I'm with you. I get you. I feel
Well,
you.
that's what they put on there. Sophisticated. What the heck? But anyway,
Real quick, you had Sabir's comment highlighted. I saw it.
Oh,
Enjoyed
yeah.
what I saw. I was already a fan of Andor from its debut, though. And that may
Yeah.
have been me. I think I did highlight that.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, Andor was good. I
so
definitely enjoyed the first
everybody,
season.
yeah, everybody in here is like, yeah, I liked it. So
Yeah.
so it's so funny because the common thing is like people liked it. It's just nobody really watched it or knew about it. It's the best freaking thing that's been made, Disney Star Wars, in my opinion. It's the best written, best character development, and it's about a character I don't even really care about. Cassian
Right.
Andor is so far down on my list. He's not even the star of the show.
Yeah.
Is
No.
not even the star of the show.
Right.
He's not.
And so this is the trend with everything Disney. If they have someone's name in the title, that person is not the main character.
Right.
Because you go back to Doctor Strange. Well, that was a Scarlet Witch movie. So I mean, everybody who's in there, that's not their movie
Right.
or TV show. And so Andor was no different. And Juan Solo is Juan Solo, right? I mean,
Right.
it is what it is.
So Lando was not in season 1. There's no
Nope.
Lando here. But Wart just says Andor was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. What? Same Time Toys is here
It's a
saying,
Ben Affleck
yo,
joke. Come on,
I
man.
made it. I know, I know. Same time, I guarantee you've been watching some, you've been bouncing some streams, haven't you? I bet you have. Okay, so here's the deal. People are like, hey, before the ambient kicks in, we got to get into it. And I know you and I, we're running a little bit late, so I don't want to keep you up.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
So, but yeah, so let's get into it. Let's finish this up, and then I'm going to bring up the streaming schedule as we'll go through that just for a moment. But as we see, you're getting a lot more action in this trailer. You've got Krennic now, right? Ben Mendelsohn is in this, which I think is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, my biggest issue is that they're showing too much of the Death Star, though. I mean, that shouldn't be as developed.
Well, I mean, let's see. That literally could be the last scene of the series.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like literally could be the last scene. You know how these trailers are, man. It's out of order. So much is out of
scene
order.
right there that you just passed over. That one bothers me a little bit. I have some concerns about that.
Right. Let's see here. No, hang on. We'll go back just a little bit. So, boom, boom, boom. All right, we have
Before
light
that,
speed.
before that,
Okay,
before that.
all right, that's cool. Let's go back a little bit. Right there. Dancing
Yeah, that.
time. Okay, so what do you think about that? The dancing? I think that's just a dance scene. It's showing a party, maybe. You know,
choreographed nature.
Actually, this might be a marriage because remember, her daughter is dating the son of a very bad businesman, so to speak. A very a gangster, so to speak. Remember Mon Mothma's daughter? She passes her off,
That's
right? You remember that?
Yep.
So that's part of what that is. That could be a wedding scene, kind of like a bar mitzvah, so to speak, right?
Montage,
No. I don't think so. The music, folks, if you go back and watch this trailer, the music is very misleading. It is weird, and it's not Star Wars, and I don't like it at all. Yeah. It's not Star Wars, but we're seeing a lot more action as things start ramping up, and I'm digging it. You know, I think a lot of people, they say, hey, that's slow burn, you know, well, yeah, things are going to start ramping up. We got Saw Gerrera in here. Maybe we'll get a little more history with him and everything. And there's Cassian looking all suave and debonair. But listen, April 22nd, it's going to be coming out. And really quickly, I just wanted to go over, before I show you the Arnold Schwarzenegger trailer and Star Wars, folks, have you seen this? I don't know if you have, but I'm going to show it to you because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But let's go over the release schedule quickly. Star Wars Andor Season 2 unusual release schedule will roll out all 12 episodes over 4 weeks. They're going to do it in 3 episode arcs. Now, I kind of like this. The reason I like this is because last season, it was like 3 episode arcs, and you had a different writer for each arc. And that's what they're doing here. They're doing a different arc and a different writer, starting with Tony Gilroy, right, who did Rogue One.
Yep.
And so they're kind of doing these 3 episode arcs over 12 weeks.
I have a major problem with this.
Okay.
And that problem is, if they're episodes, then you put them out once a week and you build buzz and you build discussion. If they're one episode, then you put it out as one fucking episode. Don't put it out as 3 episodes if it's one fucking episode. Don't call it 3 episodes when it's one episode.
Right.
So episodes are episodic, right? They are contained. They tell a story beginning to end. And yes, there's more, but that's one story, one part of the story. And then you can have discussions on it about where it's going to go next. If it's not a complete story without all 3, then don't release it in 3 different parts.
Yeah,
it's one fucking episode.
Yeah, but Matthew, I have a feeling like I kind of like this because I saw the way they did this last season, and it's kind of like, you know, 1 and 2 and 3, you kind of put those out, you can consume those in a week and kind of, you know, have that all together. I'm okay with it.
So
I'm
why
okay
call
with
it 3 episodes? If it's not 3 episodes, why call it 3 episodes?
Well, look, because then it would be 4 movies. And they're not going to market 4 movies. I mean, this is not how they're going to do it, because the movies they have an arc, but they don't have an overall ending, right? Like you have some kind of resolution.
It's still episodic. It's still episodic. It's just longer format. It's longer format.
Yeah, so they're episodes.
How long is each episode? How long is each
They're
episode?
episodic. I'd say probably 40 minutes, 45 minutes, if I had to guess.
Does it? Well, okay, so we don't know.
Based off of the last season, I'd guess they're probably somewhere in the 40 plus 45
Okay,
minute
do you
range.
remember last season? Because they were like 22-minute episodes, right?
I don't think they were that short.
Are you sure?
22 minutes?
20
Man.
minutes, 20, 25.
Man,
if you take in the
no,
20 minutes of
no,
credits
no,
at the
no,
beginning,
no, no,
10 minutes at the beginning, 10 minutes of credits at the end, if you take in the intro and the credit stuff and you take that stuff out and actually look at the content that's actually in there, you're looking at about 20 minutes of actual showtime. So why the fuck would you, again?
No, 35. Look, 38 to 57 minutes average
Okay.
run time.
Average runtime.
That's
So
pretty
take
good.
20 minutes, take 20 minutes off of that for the fucking credits. Because they're
not
including
not 20. I mean, well, yeah,
Yes.
on the back end. No, I'm with you.
The-
I get that. I get what you're saying. But I think overall, the 3 episode arc thing, like I get it though. I get why they're doing this, and also the way they're kind of releasing that. Daredevil's going to be released that way. You realize that Daredevil's going to be released. They're doing like episode 1 and 2,
Yep.
and then they're releasing like 1, 3, 4, and 5 in successive weeks, and then 5, 6 together as well. Like so they're doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see.
So again, I go back to why the fuck do you call them episodes and divide them up into different parts when it is one story still? Why? I don't understand. You're on streaming. You can make them whatever format, whatever length you want to make them. So why say this is 3 episodes, but we're going to release them all at once because it's one story? So why not just make it one episode?
Because I think that's just the way that people consume stuff now.
I don't think
And
so. I
that's
think
ju-
they're
it's
fucking
the
idiots.
it's the language. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's the language. I think it's just the language that people understand now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like saying the word content.
So, but nobody knows what an episode is because we just had an argument or discussion about what an episode is. Is it 22 minutes? Is it 35 minutes? Is it 57 minutes? I mean, what is an episode? And you don't know. And you literally have 10 plus minutes of end credits for every one of these. So they're including that in the runtime. Plus you have the intro.
They always do, right? Of course,
Yeah.
everybody cuts it off before then. And then there's no end credit scenes or anything, crazy.
Well,
like that,
actually, there
so.
have been, and what they'll do, what Disney has done, and what they will probably continue to do, is if you watch it when it releases, there's not an end credit scene. If you watch it on replay a week later, there is an end credit scene.
Well, then that's
they have done this on previous shows before. So they're trying to encourage.
Are you talking about
rewatching.
like a preview for the next episode?
No, I'm talking about an end credit.
See, I've
teaser.
never gone back a week later
Exactly.
to watch something and then be like, oh, it's either a preview for the next episode, but
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people would go back to watch that.
I don't know either, but I know that it actually exists because if you watch it through the first time, it's not there that first week. The second week, there's an end credit scene. It's not a teaser; it's an end credit scene.
Well, let me give you a little something here. Let me give you a little something. Let me give you a little Arnold Schwarzenegger AI Star Wars.
Yeah, I saw this. My wife sent this to me.
Oh wow, perfect timing, right?
Buffer.
Seriously?
Buffer.
The galaxy.
I'm on Ethernet, baby. There's no reason for buffering, so I gotta watch out for the music here. But anyway, this is pretty cool though. If you watch this, like, hang on, a new clone army. Who could it possibly be? Yeah, this is.
How about the
struggling
Terminator?
Big time. Oh. Holy shit. Why is this? This is rough. Hang on.
Hey, you know what?
This
It's
is kind of
probably
pissing
doing you a
me off.
favor.
It probably is, actually. Samuel Jackson. Look at the slave. I always love how the women in these AI things are always like in bikinis. They're always in bikinis. Oh my gosh. It's Phasma. It's Will Smith. Willard
No, that's not
Smith, ladies and
Phasma.
gentlemen.
That was a Dark Trooper, by the way.
That's true. It was a Dark Trooper.
I told you I'll be back.
This is so amazing. Look at Yoda in Stormtrooper armor. This is nuts.
There's the Wilhelm. They got the Wilhelm in there.
Don't you ask my
Yep, had to get one. But it's just look at it's. Would you watch this?
Oh, this is so bad.
Would you watch this though? I would 100% watch this. Are you kidding me? Like I would. Oh my God.
Was that supposed to be Quado or something? That was so weird.
I don't know. Or it's like from Dune, right?
Well, it was Dune and the original concept for Jabba the Hutt.
Right.
You know, the original actor, the Scottish guy.
It's so good though. It's like, look at Luke. What is going on here? And then you
Is
have
that
Arnold.
Padme? That's Padme.
It's so stupid.
That was Arnold with
With
Padme.
the cigar, and look at Darth Vader.
And that's
It's
good guy
his.
Darth Vader. That's alternate universe good guy.
He
Darth
doesn't
Vader.
need the Force. The Force needs him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at that closely, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger with Padme, insinuating that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the father of Luke and Leia. I'm just saying.
Look at the Ewoks, like with
Finally, they're getting their
it's
justice.
Samuel Jackson with the fro. Oh my God, I love it.
Well, is that the return of Mace Windu? I mean,
Oh my
he didn't
God.
die, right? I mean, Lucas confirmed that he didn't die.
That's true. And oh my God, look, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Willard Smith.
Wow.
Samuel Jackson.
Wow.
Oh my God. I would love to play this for y'all, like with the sound and with the music and everything, but obviously it's like super heavy copyright crap. But man, I saw this the other day and I was like, this is so great. Like this is as good as it gets.
Man.
So listen, I want you to give. So you watched Werewolves,
Yep.
okay? And I want you to give your Werewolves review. My apologies. And then we're gonna kind of finish things up with gearing up for Daredevil Born Again. There's some first reaction that I wanted to highlight about the beginning of it. So so yeah, 3-star draw. I would definitely watch this. War Chest says I would watch this all day long and beg for part 2. And yeah, Jules Winfield. So let's see here. So let's get rid of that and let's go to that. And I'm gonna let you take the floor, buddy. Have at it, my friend.
Okay, so I won't spend too much time on it. It's a low budget werewolf movie, right? It's got halfway decent effects. It's got some pretty good acting. I mean, yeah, some people might say it's over the top, but I liked it. It's got Lou Diamond Phillips, Frank Grillo, some other people in there that are talented. And basically, the whole story revolves around there was a supermoon event that happened, and anybody who was outside and looked at the moon during that supermoon event was turned into a werewolf.
Okay, that's
and
wild.
So now you have people who survived the event and are living with lycanthropy, but are only affected during the supermoon. And so the government comes together under Lou Diamond Phillips and his scientific team to create a cure for lycanthropy. And so they're going to test this cure. And that's where the movie starts is, you know, they're taking 4 subjects or whatever that have been exposed to the lycanthropy gene already, or the lycanthropy transformation. And they give them this, whatever. It's like a spray tan, right? So it's sunscreen, right? So they spray it on them and see if it affects them, and it seems to work for a little while, and then it doesn't. But there's also the story of Frank Grillo. Frank Grillo is military, and he's involved with this project to keep an eye on these werewolves and take care of them if that's what it requires. but he's also taking care of his brother's wife and daughter because his
Okay.
brother was killed. And so they're in a house and they're on lockdown and they're all like stocked, locked, loaded, prepared for anything that's coming their way. And you've got this creepy neighbor next door who's all about hunting werewolves and stuff like that. And so the effect is if you go outside and look up at the supermoon or are exposed to the supermoon, you will turn into a werewolf. And so this screen is supposed to help people from doing that, right? And so the whole thing is the experiment goes awry, the werewolves go crazy. Frank Grillo's got to get home to protect his brother's wife and daughter, and so that's the whole kind of premise of what's going on in the movie. I thought it was engaging. I liked watching it, enjoyed it. The blood and gore wasn't too much, but it was enough that it's a horror action movie. I thought it was fun, engaging. I think it's worth a watch. I think it's a lot better than the Wolfman, which takes an entire 2 hours for one
Yeah,
transformation to
yeah,
happen.
right. Yeah.
This is what you want. This is a werewolf movie. There
More
are
action,
werewolves. Yeah,
like
there are
more
werewolves,
action. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you get to see packs of werewolves coming together,
Okay.
working together to for a common goal. You get to see the transformations. The transformations are okay. The werewolf models are good. So if you like werewolf movies, it's worth watching. Is it the best? No, probably not. But it's engaging. It's got decent acting, decent portrayals of the wolves, and a halfway decent story. I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed it. So I would recommend that if you like werewolf movies, that you check it out. Um,
I mean, sometimes, man, you can get some, and whether they're lower budget, so to speak, or whatever. But occasionally, you kind of need a little palate cleanser like that, just something fun, just kind of goofy, that you could just have fun with, and don't take too seriously.
yeah,
But at the same time, it's got maybe some people that in it, right?
yeah,
A little root for this person. You get a nice little either family story in there or whatever, right? And as opposed to the other film you just mentioned, which was like literally a 3 hour transformation practically,
yeah.
and very slow motion. I like the ideas behind it.
Right.
But at the same token, it's like, if you're talking about a werewolf movie, you need some action. You need something to keep you interested,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And not just watching someone lose their hearing or not understand the English language or whatever. So, but yeah, you sent me that text and told me that you dug it, and so yeah, man. I mean,
And then I found out not too long ago that uh, Edgar's next movie, because he just made
Robert
Nosferatu.
Robert Eggers, right?
Yeah. So his next movie is called Werewolf, and it comes out in
Stop it.
2026, in
Stop it.
December of 2026.
Seriously. Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yes.
Oh,
That's
hell
his next
yeah.
movie that's
All
coming out,
right.
and I'm
Okay.
loving it
Well, I can't
because
wait for that.
I like Nosferatu. I like The Lighthouse a lot,
Yeah,
and
right.
his horror themes, the themes that he likes to use, the psychological side of things, the action, the way he mixes it all together. I am
Right.
super stoked
Nice.
for Werewolf as it is, because it
Nice.
is a German spelling of werewolf.
Right.
So I don't know if it's going to be period. I don't know anything about it other than the title and that he's involved with it, and I'm stoked.
That's cool. I dig it, man. So I'm about to change the color. There we go. Change the color of the banner because let's get into it here as we start gearing up for Daredevil Born Again. And I
Again.
brought up a couple articles again. And the first one I'm going to share with you is a variety article. We're just going to kind of just go over it. And then I've got another one. But headline says Daredevil Born Again draws glowing first reactions, with some praising the opener as the best pilot of any MCU series thus far. Um, if they're able to follow and go after the Netflix series, now we are gonna get. It's kind of a little bit of a rehashing, right, from season 3.
Yeah.
Do
Well,
you
I wait.
think
No, no, I don't think it will be. They're using the
you don't think
name.
so?
They're using the name, but they are not using the story. I don't think.
So basically it says here we go. It says Screen Rant on-camera reporter Liam Crowley praised the show on X, writing that Daredevil Born Again has the best pilot. Its first 2 episodes were released to the press of any MCU series thus far, and it's not close. Edge of seat energy with audible gasps throughout. Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio haven't lost a step. Benson and Moorhead bring the sauce. Above all else, it's episodic. We might be back, as in we might be back to what we got with the Netflix series. Sean O'Connell from Cinema Blend. Now, of course, again, folks, these are media shills, so we have to understand, so take it with a grain of salt. Holy Hell's Kitchen. Born Again opens with a lengthy, devastating sequence that screams, "This is just as brutal as Netflix," which that's good to hear, especially with Disney. From there, the 2 episodes lay out a layered story about cops, vigilantes, and guilt, which I'm cool with that too.
Yep.
Read Devil's Reign as a refresh for you comic fans. Off to a great start. So that's from Variety, just to give you an idea about Variety. Now, quickly, I want to move on to comicbookmovie.com. It says Daredevil Born Again first reactions hail devastatingly dark revival as best MCU plot thus far, pilot thus far. I get a little scared sometimes when the headlines mirror each other, when you see the same phrases and the same buzzwords, if that makes sense. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Matthew must have frozen there.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening, but it happens.
It's all good. But just to run through this, just again, initial reactions. It says the biggest takeaway is that Born Again is said to feel like a natural continuation of the Netflix series, although quite a few of the posts below note that it's not exactly the same. It says the reactions are mostly glowing, but there are a few criticisms, including what sounds like some iffy CGI and some familiar plot beats. Now, no spoilers, but it does say it's not perfect, but that some of it maybe might be some rehashing.
So that's gonna be a big problem for me because they told the entire Born Again story in season 3.
Right.
If they're rehashing that story, that's gonna be a problem. And I will tell you, I've gone back and we're rewatching Daredevil.
Me too.
Up until the new season starts, and I will tell you that the first episode is so amazing of that show. It's gripping. It draws you in. It really invests you in all of it. And those first 4 episodes are some of the best episodes that have ever been put on television, period. And hands down, it has 2 of the most brutal scenes that you have ever seen. And one of them, which every action movie since has tried to replicate and cannot replicate.
The one-take hallway.
The 10-minute hallway fight scene has never been replicated to the effect that it was in that episode of Daredevil, right at the beginning of the whole show. And the most brutal thing that you could think of, a man cutting a guy's head off with a freaking car door.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely brutal. And with the Russian mob and Wilson Fisk, and that's really, if I remember correctly, is kind of your first real introduction to Wilson Fisk, right? Like, isn't that where kind of he's behind the scenes those first few episodes? Well, you really don't see much of him at all until they take that car ride, right?
So he was introduced earlier, but you don't know much about him other than he's involved with these people and he's looking at art and he likes this girl, and then all of a sudden he's killing this Russian with a car door.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really his introduction to how brutal he is. And Graf, it says that. Look, hopefully not. I don't think so. I think that was an abomination not to use a Hulk reference.
The actress does not have any Marvel projects coming up. And she's begging. She's the other actress that I saw begging for.
Yeah, begging. begging to get back in. And no. I don't think this is going to rehash that. I think that really, truly was a mistake. And I
Yep.
think they heard it loud and clear from the Daredevil fans of him
Yep.
taking the walk of shame. I mean, that was so stupid. That series is absolutely stupid.
Yep.
And all you need to do is see the twerking shit from She-Hulk, and then the fact that she goes into the writer's room in the last episode. It's it's an embarrassment. And also, yeah, brutal scenes in the bedroom with She-Hulk. I agree. Clint Jorgensen says, I thought the Marvel Universe Netflix universe was going to go to the stratosphere. That I don't know about, my friend.
Well, I mean, I thought they were going to go to Kunlun, and they fucked up Iron Fist so bad it made me fucking pissed at all the Netflix shows. Because, quite honestly, Daredevil season 1 and 2 are probably some of the best season 1 and 2 of any series ever.
It's really good. There are moments. Season 2, in a
Yep.
little bit, somewhat is difficult, I think, to kind of follow up the Wilson Fisk storyline, because that was, there. It feels like there's a little bit something missing. Now, Punisher tries to fill that void. Of
Right.
course, I love the Punisher,
Yep.
so I'm all about that. Which I'll get to something quickly as we finish up here momentarily. But here's another tweet here by someone who's seen the first 2 episodes. My biggest criticism: CGI feels rushed, but overall love the story and vibe. This version of Daredevil feels much more like a superhero than he did on Netflix, and is already probably my favorite Marvel Disney Plus show.
Okay.
It says here, Daredevil Born Again sacrifices to shock and surprise character credibility. Um, so the bottom line is like you said, those first 2 seasons, especially that first season, man, I absolutely just loved that first season. Second season, taking me a little bit to get into, with the introduction of Elektra, Punisher,
I like
those
it.
arcs.
I
I still
love
enjoy it.
I
Still
love
enjoy it.
Elodie Young as Elektra.
I agree.
Season 2 is, I mean, how do you top season 1? But it was still really
Right.
good. Season 3, I have more issues with, but it
Okay.
did cover the Born Again storyline pretty darn well. And so, I mean, you can't re-reveal Matt Murdock's mom.
Yeah. No.
That was the
Right.
whole point of Born Again.
Right.
Was you get to meet his mom, and he goes down to that deep dark place, has to get saved by his mom. That's how he finds out who she is, and then
Right.
right.
Well, either way, I think a lot of people are it's cautious optimism, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to have cautious optimism, because we have been let down by Disney,
Yeah.
and especially in the phase 4 and beginning of phase 5. We don't even know what phase 4 was about. Phase 4, we don't even really know what the purpose of it was. We don't know what it was about.
No purpose.
There was no purpose except to introduce more female stars than male heroes. That was a purpose. That was a Kevin Feige. That was a directive.
Yep.
That they wanted to do that. That's fine, whatever. But it didn't really work. Phase 5, we'll see. Started out with Ant-Man Quantumania. That was the beginning of phase 5. We've already seen that, the big baddie from Loki and Quantumania is now gone. So that's going to be completely just a wash, right? So it's starting over, bringing back stars from the past. Chris Evans is not far behind, I'm sure, especially after this Captain America.
He's already signed on.
Yeah, this Captain America movie is a disaster, and they are going to bring Evans back.
No, they already have.
No, well, yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
I said they're going to be, but you know what I mean. Like, yes, it's not. They're not moving forward with Anthony Mackie, and if they do, people are not going to buy into it. So you have to bring these guys back.
I don't want to say they're not moving forward with Anthony Mackie, but I will say that Chris Evans is coming back for 2 movies, and I think it's going to be a cameo, and then it's going to be a role in probably the next Avengers movie.
Right. Well, so just to move on as we wrap things up. I did want to highlight this comment by 3 Star Draw. I'm interested to see where they go with Bullseye. and Punisher coming back. And yes, as I share this tab, Marvel Studios TV head confirms the Punisher will return after Daredevil Born Again. Says John Bernthal is working on a special presentation with us about that character.
And he's writing it. John Bernthal is involved with the writing
That's
team.
awesome, dude.
Yep.
That is awesome.
He
I love it.
refused to come back and play this character unless he had say in how he was presented.
That's really like I love it. And
Yeah.
if they're okay with that, that's what I wish
Yeah.
Henry Cavill would have been given with The Witcher, instead of talking
No.
about how he was terrible to work with, and he
Yeah.
because he respected the lore, right? And you have these female directors, and they want to change everything about it and all this kind of stuff, and then you make up stories about the guy, and it's these
was
are
activist
actors. They
directors,
yes. But a lot of these actors, if they're invested in these characters, they want it to be what the fans want. They want the take to be true, and I'm good with this, and I can't wait. I'd love to see it. But I'm glad this is happening. I mean, I'm all about it, dude. I can't wait. And look, I've said it before. I was not a huge Daredevil person, comic reader. As a kid, I had a few little graphic novel here and there, but not a huge fan. But I will say, I agree with you as far as the show, the Netflix show. I think it's some of the best. At the very least, is it up there with Breaking Bad? Is it up there with some of the pantheon of shows people always put on pedestals? The Sopranos, maybe, or whatever. I didn't ever really watch The Sopranos. I don't know. But I will say that I was heavily invested in season 1, and I think it was some great writing. There are some story arcs and things that kind of somewhat loose ends that don't, quite maybe get tidied up a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But I think overall the writing was very strong. The characters are very strong. The acting was fantastic.
Yep.
And so I've had a lot of fun going back and watching and getting back into it to get geared up for basically we have 1 week.
Yeah,
A week from today?
Yeah, it actually comes out on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, folks. And I got to look at what time it comes out, because if it comes out like an hour before we go on, we're going to be really pushing it to try to watch it if we want to give immediate reaction. So, we'll see if we can.
That might be tough, but
it might be a little tough. I mean, but we'll see. If I save everything and then we watch it right up until, just to give no spoilers, but immediate reaction, that could be fun. So we'll see.
I will tell you that I really enjoyed that first season of Jessica Jones, and I thought the second season was okay too. But I know you meant Jessica Jones.
Yeah. But Jenny Jones, that's good. I hadn't thought about Jenny Jones in a long time. Graf says, yeah, I would like more Punisher in a movie, just a love letter to 80s gun porn. I'm with you.
Now, Graf, I want to ask you, who's your favorite Punisher? You've got Jane Thomas. You've got Dolph Lundgren and Ray Stevenson, and then John Bernthal.
Right. I mean,
so the Ray Stevens was close to the War Journal Punisher.
Right.
Right. I still like the Dolph Lundgren one. I thought that's funny, but the Thomas Jane one is good too.
Thomas Jane was good, but that movie's a little.
It's over the top.
Man, it's really over the top, and there's some goofy stuff that happens in that movie. I love the character either way.
The Jane Thomas Punisher movie actually used some lines from the comic book that they stole from Larry Hama in his Soft Master Bodega lines that he used in that one. They put in the Thomas Jane movie, which they also used in the Punisher comic also. Dolph Lundgren,
Johnny Reno, Dolph Lundgren.
He greased his hair, and that one's hard to find.
Yeah, man. No kidding. And I remember, when that came out, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then it was like, oh no. The Warzone movie, 3-star like Jigsaw in the Warzone movie, same dude that played McNulty on The Wire. Yeah, wow. Holy crap. I didn't even think about that. It took me forever to realize where I'd seen that guy before. And that's funny how it is like that sometimes where you see somebody that's a
Yeah.
character actor or maybe was, a different part and you're like, where the hell? And then
Yeah.
you really got to, obviously nowadays it's easy, but back in the day, you really had to think about it, do some research. Now you can just Google it, right? Look
Yeah.
at the credits and it's easy peasy. Okay, so look, guys, look, we're gonna finish it up, man. We're a little over tonight, but that's okay. I always want to make sure, Matthew, you're good with that if we do a little bit over. But that's about all we really have for you. I know there's one story we didn't get to, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay, and I think everybody's kind of, it's late, so I think next week it'd be worth bringing up. I'm not gonna even tease it, but I'll save it for next week. But yeah, man. So, any parting thoughts for you before we get out of here, buddy?
Nah, man. Get ready this weekend. Go see some good entertainment. I think Daredevil will be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm excited to see 1923, but that's going to be a minute before I get to that one. So,
Yeah, man. No, I'm with you. And yeah, the Dirty Laundry, that was awesome. Great short. Love that. That was so much fun. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, this is what I want. Like,
Yep.
this is exactly what I want.
Yep.
Almost reminds me of seeing Nathan Fillion in the role of Drake from the
Oh, yeah.
Uncharted series. I wish he would
I
have been the
wish.
one.
Yep.
And that was he made it with his own money. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, live action X-Men series, focus on mid-tier characters as well. Definitely need to dump Hugh as Wolvie. Yeah, I don't know. The monkey, we shall see. 3-star. I don't know. Maybe I can convince my son to go see it this weekend. If you want to go see it, I'll ask him.
So
And
3-star.
maybe we'll see.
1923 started back last Sunday. So this past Sunday aired the first episodes of 1923.
Okay. And so yeah, Matthew, the check is in the mail. This is one of my favorite terrible accents from a movie.
Pay that man his money.
Checks in the mail for your appearance this week, folks. Matthew. But anyway, yeah, man, look, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, obviously, every week for showing up and staying strong and listening to us ramble on and bring some stories as we get, as we talk about it, as we get into spring, as we get into summer. There's going to be some interesting stuff coming out. Talking about Andor, obviously talking about, Born Again soon. Then we've got Superman. We've got Fantastic Four coming out. Like, there's some stuff. And we're going to find out if people have superhero fatigue or not this summer. That's for sure. Is it real? Is it not? I don't know. But we're definitely going to figure that out, man. So, yeah, man, always a pleasure. Y'all, thanks for hanging out. Once again, this is the Evening Blend number 39. We'll be back next Tuesday with number 40, and we'll see you then. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your evening. See you next week.